The Angry Birds Movie 3. Hard pass, and that is it. Veronica?
Pass for me. I don't care about them.
All right, what's next? Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of Some Like It Real. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Veronica.
And we're two cinephiles who love to talk movies.
We have weekly episodes discussing the newest films, creating lists and drafts, and keeping you updated on the latest movie headlines and awards races.
And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look into the movies coming out in 2026 and give our thoughts on what to look forward to.
But before doing that, let's play some catch-up. So, first of all, we want to thank you all for the good response on our last episode, our first one last week. Definitely heard some lovely feedback. I think people are enjoying our top 5 lists and discussion. Bryan, how was the response for you?
You know, it feels great that we finally got that first episode out there, but I just want to say something before we continue our conversation. So last week, you guys might have heard my audio, and it may not have sounded the best, or maybe it sounded perfect to you. Well, when I was editing the episode, I realized that my audio sounded a little scratchy, and that was because there was an issue with my microphone on my end. So just going forward, I want everyone to know that my audio will not sound like that going forward. It will sound much crisper, hopefully, and I already did a bunch of tests before hitting record on this episode, so my audio should sound great. But otherwise, it was a great first episode. I'm so excited that it's out there, and I'm so excited to go forward with this podcast with you. And I'm very, very honored that a lot of people tuned into the first episode and gave very wonderful feedback to both me and Veronica. I'm very, very gracious about that.
Yeah, I didn't notice any issues with your mic just listening back to the episode. But yeah, good to know we're, going to be trial and error as we're moving forward. There's always going to be some little quirks to work out. So yeah, glad that went off, pretty much smooth sailing. So Bryan, did you watch anything over the week that you wanted to catch up with?
Yeah, I've been trying to do a thing where I've been watching one movie every day, and we're recording this on January 9th, and I've watched 9 movies so far, which I'm really proud of. My goal by the end of this year is to have at least 365 movies logged on Letterboxd. That could be first-time watches, rewatches, whatever. The goal is to make sure that I have at least 365 films logged. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time going through what I've been watching, but some films, I'll just fly through them. What's Up, Doc, which came out in 1972, directed by Peter Bogdanovich, starring Ryan O'Neal and Barbra Streisand. Very fantastic rom-com, so funny, very quippy and snappy, very fast-paced. Pieces of April, which is from Peter Hedges, starring Katie Holmes and Patricia Clarkson and Oliver Platt and a bunch of other people. If I had known that this was a Thanksgiving film, I would have watched this at Thanksgiving time, but now I have a new Thanksgiving film to revisit every single holiday. Judgment Night, which is probably one of the most 90s movies you'll ever see. It's literally focusing on 4 friends who go out and have a nice time, and then it turns out to be one of the shittiest nights of their life. Think of films like After Hours or Collateral. It's in the same vein as those. It has Emilio Estevez, Cuba Gooding Jr., Jeremy Piven, Stephen Dorff, and Dennis Leary in a scene-stealing performance. And then just earlier today, I watched People We Meet on Vacation. And I do not recommend this movie to anyone who is crushing on their best friend because it is going to stain you like a motherfucker. And that's all I'll say. What about you, Veronica? Have you watched anything in the past week that you want to mention and shout out?
Yeah, I did a couple rewatches of new things and first-time watches. More so the new stuff. I've been catching up on 2025 things. So rewatches of The Mastermind and Marty Supreme. Went back to the theater for that. Loved them both. I think both of them ticked up slightly for me. They're already pretty high on my list for the year, but definitely 2 that are, pretty much masterpieces. Caught up with Left-Handed Girl, which is an international film that I believe it's shortlisted for the Oscar. It's probably not, it's a little outside the top contenders because it's such a competitive year, but a really great family drama, funny, heartbreaking, really, really, really good stuff. And then Resurrection, which is also an international film by Be Gone. I saw so many people who loved it, and I loved reading about it. I had a little trouble connecting with it, just straight. It's has to do with, I don't know, sort of sci-fi fantasy. It's hard to categorize, but sort of in a world where people can't dream. It's very, abstract and definitely interesting. I was definitely, pulled in, but I couldn't quite like wrap my head around it. So maybe I need a second watch. Maybe it's not for me, but it was a cool watch at least. It was something that's pretty different from what's out there. Yeah, so those were I'm as we were talking about last week. We're both still recovering from a bit of illness. It's a rough time of year out there, so spent a lot of the week just trying to like recover and sleep a lot. So
I think Veronica has recovered and I've gotten worse.
Yeah,
I'll just say that.
You're going downhill. I'm going up.
One of us has to.
So yeah, I definitely love your goal of a movie per day. I've definitely I was close to 300 this year. Usually I watch about 300 a year. So yeah, I definitely want to bump those numbers up too. And yeah, I'll probably pick it up a little bit later this month, get to watch a little bit more. And yeah, mix of all things, new stuff, old stuff, whatever.
Absolutely. And also in the past week, we had the Critics' Choice Awards that took place. The Golden Globes will be happening on Sunday. By the time this episode drops, the Golden Globes will have already happened.
Right.
And we're also, being in the thick of award season, we also got the PGA nominations as well as the DGA nominations. So kind of speed running through these, one battle after another, continuing its hot streak. It won Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Screenplay at the Critics' Choice Awards. And then in terms of the acting prizes, Timothée Chalamet won Best Actor, Jessie Buckley won not supporting actress, lead and actress, and then supporting actor and actress went to two genre performances. We had Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein win supporting actor, and then Anne Gladys herself, Amy Madigan, wins supporting actress. Sinners took home original screenplay. There's been a lot of interesting discussion about how the award season is going to pan out. And the Critics' Choice Awards don't necessarily correlate with the Oscars. I would say that there's some awards that definitely overlap with the Oscars, but it seems that there was nothing too surprising that happened at CCA. I guess a lot of people didn't expect Jacob Elordi to win supporting actor, but this definitely helps boost his chances of getting a possible Oscar nomination or even win. Also, the SAG nominations came out this past week as well, and unfortunately, the SAGs don't like international films, it seems. So
crazy, yeah.
Which is so disappointing. No love for Sentimental Value, no love for any other international titles. It's really disappointing. It's been a discussion for the last couple of days since these nominations have dropped, but nothing too crazy on that front. But and then the Golden Globes are on Sunday, so I think it's safe to say that one battle is going to do so well at the Globes. It wouldn't surprise me if it repeats what it did at the Critics' Choice by winning picture, director, and screenplay. Although, since screenplay is only one category at the Globes, maybe Sinners could find its way of winning this, or maybe something else could take the prize.
They might split the love there. Yeah, I think this early on, like you said, Critics' Choice and Golden Globes, they don't necessarily overlap with Oscars, but I think especially earlier on in the award season, it's a good chance just for to build momentum. The fact that Jacob Elordi and Amy Madigan got to give up there and give a speech and sort of get people to think about, I did really love that performance, or I do, like their work otherwise. It kind of like when you start to win earlier on, as voting's still happening for all these other awards, it can affect chances that way and get people to get some momentum going in their campaign.
Yeah, and then moving on to the DGA and PGA nominations. So DGA, we had Paul Thomas Anderson, Ryan Coogler, Guillermo del Toro, Josh Safdie, and Chloe Zhao. I think it's safe to say that at least 3 of these 5 are going to make the Oscar 5. I think it's very obvious that PTA, Ryan Coogler, and Chloe Zhao are going to be in the Oscar 5. Guillermo could maybe sneak his way in. There's a possibility that he could make it to the 5, and you could say the same about Josh Safdie as well. I think that these are all top 10 contenders for the nominations and the win. At PTA, I think I don't want to be like, oh, it's so over and everything, but I think it's safe to say that PTA is going to keep sweeping the season as he
Yeah,
should.
solidly the front runner. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
and DGA here they also didn't skew international, whereas the Oscars usually tend to have at least one slot for an international director. So
Hmm.
most I think it's sort of between Jafar Panahi for It Was Just an Accident and Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value.
I agree.
I would sort of give the edge to Panahi at this point. I think Joachim Trier could still make it in and then possibly kick out Del Toro or Safdie.
Yeah. The narrative behind Panahi is just so strong and
Yeah.
everything. And plus, the film won the Palme d'Or, and those tend to make the list for Best Director. I mean, if you look at past years, you look at Triangle of Sadness and Anatomy of a Fall and everything. So, and Honora this past year, which wasn't an international film, but that was the Palme d'Or winner. And then that
Yep.
obviously went on to win director and picture and everything. And then regarding the PGA, we had Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Mari Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, Sinners, Train Dreams, and Weapons. I would happily say that I don't see Weapons making the Oscar 10. That would be a massive shock. And F1
Yeah.
absolutely is
And
not
F1
making the
out.
Oscar 10 either. But the other films listed here, I definitely think that they're going to make it. Although Train Dreams right now is kind of on the bubble.
Yeah.
I don't think it has a strong shot of making it into picture. I would love for it to be there because that was my second favorite film of this past year. But I don't know. I feel like the Netflix film that's going to get all the accolades is Frankenstein. I feel like that's their top contender this season.
Yeah, I think they're probably putting more resources towards that. Something like Jay Kelly is pretty much done in awards races that really didn't show up
Unfortunately,
anywhere. Yeah, and yeah, I think for PGA it skews a little more populist. It's like they kind of have that tendency. So yeah, I would expect It Was Just an Accident to sneak into the Best Picture lineup for Oscars. And then I think something like Wicked for Good and Avatar not appearing on the PGA, that likely means that that if they were going to show up anywhere, it would probably be there. So that's also not looking great for a Best Picture, although they'll probably still get lots of below the line. I think Ariana Grande is still in contention for supporting actress, things
yeah,
like that. But
I agree.
yeah, probably
I
not a Best
agree.
Picture nom anymore.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how these awards pan out and everything. It's crazy that we're just now less than 2 weeks away from the Oscar nominations, and we'll
Yeah.
we'll do an episode when the Oscar nominations drop in a few weeks and everything. But I genuinely don't know how this award season is gonna go. Like, I could say that like, oh, one battle is gonna sweep and everything, and it's pretty clear that that might be the case, but you never know what could happen in the coming weeks. Like something could change, and another film could end up taking the reins and everything. We'll obviously see what happens over the next few weeks, but for right now, I think it's safe to say that One Battle will continue to be the winner of this season. And it got 7 nominations at the SAG Awards, which is a huge record. And you know, a lot of people are predicting that or Sinners, most likely Sinners could end up breaking the nomination total at the Oscars. There's only
Could
been
be, yeah.
3, so the most nominations that a film has gotten is 14, and only 3 films have reached that title. And Sinners could reach 15. A lot of people are predicting that, and that would be pretty big. And honestly, it would be very deserving too, because we both love Sinners. A lot of people love Sinners, and I think that if there was a film that deserves to be the first to reach that status, Sinners would be a good one.
Yeah, yeah, Sinners and One Battle both, like we talked about on our top 5 episode, they're, a good marriage of like populist, exciting filmmaking that people, just a good film that you can enjoy watching, and also, touching on deeper themes, great performances, great writing, all that stuff. So yeah, when it's in contention for so much, both below the line and above the line, then you can really rack up the nominations and
Yeah,
get close to some of those records.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's our check-in for 2025 award season. But with that out of the way, let's get into our main topic. Moving on to the films of 2026. Happy New Year! We are in a brand new year. The films are already underway, and we're gonna attempt something a little difficult here. So what we're gonna do is we have 100 films for 2026. I think we're just gonna rapid fire. We can stop and talk about something if there's, something notable to go over.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we just want to give you guys a good preview, the things to watch out for. If you hear that and hear something and think that sounds up my alley, I want to, remember to check that out. This would be just a good preview for what's coming in the year. And I just looking over this list, I just was getting so excited. Like it's going to be a cool year. I think that there's a mix of blockbuster, a mix of independent things. There's always something going on. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Putting this list together, I put the list together, and when I sent it to Veronica, I was just like, "Oh God, she's probably so overwhelmed just looking at this right now and everything." And I
No, it's
just want to
exciting.
I just want to quickly shout out friend of the show, Jonathan Fuji. He made a video all about 2026 movies, and a lot of the films that we're talking about here today came from his video. So I wanted to shout him out and everything. Jonathan, I love you, buddy. Hope you enjoyed the shout out. If you don't, I apologize, but you're gonna get a shout out anyway, and hopefully you like it. But I will say that before we get into talking about these films and everything, obviously some of these films may not stick to their 2026 release dates. Obviously, some of these films might move their release dates around. And also, we don't know everything that's coming out this year. There's going to be films that premiere at film festivals that we don't know anything about until they make their premiere. And then they're going to be
Right.
on our radar, and we're going to be like, oh my God, these are the films to keep our eyes out in the year. We're just a few weeks away from the Sundance Film Festival, and I'm certain that there was going to be films that play there that we knew nothing about, and then they end up getting so much buzz, and then we keep them on our radar, and then they end up making our top 10, if not top 5 of the year. When 2025 began, I had never heard of Sorry Baby. That ended up being in my top 10 for the entirety of the year. Nobody knew what Twinless was, and that ended up being the favorite of the year. There were so many films that premiere at these film festivals that we don't know anything about, and then they end up being the films to talk about of the year. So I'm certain, and I'm sure you agree with me on this, Veronica, is that there will be some films that we know nothing about right now, and then they come out and we're like, oh, these are the films to be talking about.
Yeah, which is exciting. It's fun to look at the calendar and get excited about, directors we already like, actors we like, premises that sound cool. But yeah, the most exciting thing as the year unfolds is those surprises that you just knew nothing about, and all of a sudden the buzz starts to build. And yeah, that's one of the more exciting things as the calendar unfolds.
Couldn't agree more. You ready to get into it?
Sure, yeah, let's go. So let's see. Number one, we have Flowervale Street, which is coming. Description is a family in the 80s starts to notice bizarre happenings in their neighborhood. Directed by David Robert Mitchell, starring Anne Hathaway, Ewan McGregor. What's your impression of this film?
So this film excites me because of the cast. I love Anne Hathaway, and this is not going to be the only time that we talk about her today. She
Nope,
has a
she has a
lot
huge
of
year.
a humongous year, and a nice mix of everything too. She's doing a huge variety of different projects and films, working with different filmmakers and actors and what have you. Anne Hathaway, Ewan McGregor. I think Ewan McGregor is one of the most underrated actors that we have in the industry, and it's set in the '80s, and it's sci-fi mystery. And J.J. Abrams is a producer on this, and David Robert Mitchell. In case nobody knows who he is, he's the director of It Follows, which was a very celebrated horror film that came out about 10 years ago now, which is absolutely crazy. And on top of that, too, you have these two actors, but then you have Maisie Stella, who was a revelation that broke out recently with the film My Old Ass, and then Christian Convery, who, if I'm not mistaken, he was just in The Monkey, where he played the two younger versions of the character that was played by Theo James. And he was also just in Frankenstein, where he played young Victor Frankenstein. So very interesting cast, very interesting premise. It sounds like something that is kind of Spielberg-esque, which is funny because we do have a Spielberg movie coming out this year, which we're both very excited to talk about, spoiler alert. But this one sounds very interesting. I'm very excited for this one. I've been waiting for this one for quite some time. I think it was supposed to come out like early last year, and then it got pushed back to the summer of this year. So I'm very interested.
Yeah, agree. Just on the director, just my personal hot take is that I don't like It Follows. I know that was a very big film when it came out. So just Off the top of my head, I don't think I really know that much else from this director. And it is a high concept thing that feels like could be great, could be terrible, who knows? But definitely intrigued to check it out.
Absolutely. The next film that we have is Fjord, which is about an immigrant Romanian family living in Norway, is subject to an investigation and faces the scrutiny of the local judicial system. This stars Renata Reinsva and Sebastian Stan, so it's a different man reunion. Love both of these actors. We'll watch anything that they're in. It's funny that we bring up Sebastian Stan because just minutes ago, time of recording, it was reported that a few days ago, it was reported that he joined the Batman Part 2, and now today it has been confirmed that
Right.
he will
Yeah.
be playing Harvey Dent, which is perfect cast and phenomenal all across the board. Just love that so much. So, how do you feel about this film? Are you excited? Are you intrigued? It's really the cast that excites me to watch this.
Agree. I'm sold on that pairing alone of Renata and Sebastian again. So very exciting. I'll be there.
What's next?
Next up, this is a biggish one. We have The Social Reckoning, which is serving as a sequel to, of course, The Social Network. Description reads, follows Francis, a young Facebook engineer who enlisted the help of Jeff Horowitz, a Wall Street Journal reporter, to blow the whistle on the social network's most guarded secrets. The Social Network was written by Aaron Sorkin, directed by David Fincher, but this one now will be both written and directed by Aaron Sorkin, which frightens me because I think that Sorkin is much stronger as a writer than a director.
I
I'm not
agree.
particularly fond of anything that he's directed. And this is starring Jeremy Allen White, Mikey Madison, Betty Gilpin, Jeremy Strong, a few other people, I think. So, strong ensemble cast, things like that. But I think this is the movie I'm most like afraid of. I'm most like it could go so horribly wrong, and we'll see.
Yeah, this one is a mixed bag for me. Ultimately, I love The Social Network. It's one of my favorite films of all time. I think that is the best film of the 2010s. That was my number one of that entire decade. It's criminal to me that film didn't win Best Picture, but that's a different discussion for another time. I love this cast so much. Jeremy Strong, Jeremy Allen White, Mikey Madison, and what I think is her first role after winning the Oscar for Nora, Betty Gilpin, Wumi Masaku, Billy Magnuson, Bill Burr, who's like one of my favorite comics. Aaron Sorkin, he's a good writer, but he's not that good of a director. I do kind of like his first two films behind the camera, but I hated being the Ricardos. So I don't know how this is gonna be. Plus, it's like, do we even need this film? Who knows how this one's gonna fare? The cast is what makes me intrigued, and I'm very curious to see what Jeremy Strong is gonna do as Mark Zuckerberg. I'm very interested to see his interpretation of that person. So we'll have to see. I'm scared though for the movie. I don't know how that's gonna be.
Yeah, I am frightened.
Speaking of frightened, our next film, Evil Dead Burn. So this is the next Evil Dead installment. Sam Raimi is involved with it, not directing, but I think he's writing and producing it. The Evil Dead series is one that I thoroughly enjoy. I'm not really a big horror guy, admittedly, but I do enjoy these films. I really liked Evil Dead Rise, which was the last Evil Dead that came out. I will say it has one of the best title cards I think I've ever seen in my life. That was so powerful, that title card. I was like, oh, how can you go from here? And while the rest of the film wasn't as strong as that opening, it was still a pretty solid entry in the series. So I'm interested to see where this one goes. What about you? Are you an Evil Dead girly, or are you not really well rounded with this series?
This is a blind spot for me. I have somehow not really engaged with it at all. I'm sure I would like it. Especially heard good things about the second one. I think that's kind of what people hold up as being sort of innovative and fun and everything. So yeah, maybe I will have a chance to check them out before this one comes out. That might be a good chance to catch up. But yeah, not one of my favorite series.
Interesting. I'm not even a big horror guy, but this is one of the few series that I really gravitate towards because it's so absurd, but then it's also
Yeah,
very terrifying. Like, I liked how they mix it up every so often with each installment in the series, so I'm very excited to see how this one plays out.
cool. Speaking of big series with lots of entries in them, we have a new Spider-Man movie this year. We have Spider-Man Brand New Day. You know, Peter Parker tries to focus on college and leaves Spider-Man behind. This is picking up off of Spider-Man No Way Home was the third one, with all of the Spider-Men. So, Tom Holland's back, Zendaya's back. This is an entry in that series. If I'm gonna see a superhero movie these days, I think Spider-Man's run is pretty solid. So I think this is like a moderately excited for me. I'm sure it'll be good. I don't think I'm gonna be a super fangirl or over it or anything. But what about you?
Yeah, I'm intrigued about this one because John Watts isn't directing this. Instead, it's directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, who actually directed Shang-Chi, a different MCU entry. So I'm interested to see his take on Spider-Man. And yeah, I would say that in terms of the consistent franchises in the superhero world that we have, I would say that Spider-Man is very consistently entertained. I like all of Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies, so I don't doubt that this won't be good either. I'm sure that this will be entertained. I'm very curious to see how they're going to handle Peter Parker's story after what happened in No Way Home. Although I think No Way Home was a perfect way to wrap up that story, so I think they're kind of just milking it. But I'm intrigued to say the least. I'm very curious. And Sadie Sink is also going to be in this, and I love her so much. I'm obsessed with her. She's like one of my favorite people working today. But yeah, I'm interested to say the least. And going into our next film, I'm very excited for this. It's called Power Ballad. It will be coming out June 5th. It's the new film from John Carney, who is best known for directing films such as Begin Again, Saint Street, Once, Florence Son. This stars Paul Rudd and Nick Jonas. It is an uplifting, music-driven story about a wedding singer, a rock star, and the song that comes between them. Paul Rudd's in it, so that's a good
That's enough,
selling
yeah.
point for me. And Saint Street is one of my favorite films of all time. So I'll follow John Carney into anything that he does. And Nick Jonas, he's from New Jersey, so he gets bonus points.
Definitely, yeah, great cast. That alone is enough for me. I'm not the biggest John Carney fan. I think, yeah, I definitely like Once and Sing Street. Saw them a while ago, but haven't really, maybe a good chance to revisit them before this comes out. But yeah, sounds like it'll be a good time. Okay, next up we have something that's just around the corner. Emerald Fennell's adaptation of Wuthering Heights. This is looking like a pretty divisive one already before it even comes out, just from the trailer alone.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm a little bit of an Emerald Fennell defender. I really love Promising Young Woman. I understand people's issues with that movie. I can understand them, but I disagree. It's a movie that really works for me. Saltburn was something that I had a really good time watching. I think that I was entertained, and it was only afterwards that I was like, that really didn't hold up at all or anything like that. So, I think directorially she's got like an amazing eye. I think she's a really visual sort of director. I'm excited to see what she does with Margot and with Jacob. Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi are the stars of this one. So I'm maybe cautiously optimistic would be a good way to phrase it. But what about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of terrified for this one too, similar to The Social Reckoning.
Yeah.
I like Emerald Fennell too. I don't dislike her like the way that a lot of people do. I think Promising Young Woman is a great film as well. I do like that one. Saltburn, similar to you, really enjoyed it when I watched it. But if I'm being honest, I've had no inkling of going back to it since it came out. And the thing with this film is that it looks so stunning. The filmmaking of it
Yes.
looks
Yeah.
incredible. And Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi, they're two very talented people, two breathtaking people. But I don't know. The vibes of this they're just throwing me off. I don't know why, and maybe it's because of all the fanfare that's around it as well, the scrutiny that's around it too. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's interesting that it's coming out Valentine's Day weekend. I think that's a smart business strategy on Warner Brothers' part for releasing it at that time. But yeah, I can't say that I'm excited for it, but I am intrigued to see it. The intrigue is very high with this one.
Yep.
And then what's next? Oh, The Cat in the Hat,
Sure.
starring Bill Hader. Yeah, I'm good. No thanks.
Yeah, I'm not really that. I mean, listen, I grew up in the right time where like the live action Cat in the Hat with Mike Myers is. I know it's an abomination, but like it was a
No,
big
it's a
movie for
masterpiece.
us as kids. Yeah, it was like if you were born in the right time. So that's gonna be my cat in the hat. I think. I don't think this is gonna dethrone that one.
Right,
So
and Bill Hader is awesome. We all love Bill
yeah, yeah,
Hader, and I mean, if you're gonna cast someone to play the Cat in the Hat now, I guess it's a good choice. But it's just no, no,
just
thank you.
not
It
interested.
just
Yeah.
looks like it's in the same vein of that dumb Grinch movie that came out a few years ago with Benedict Cumberbatch, and I'm
Hmm.
just no, I'm good. And listen, we're not the target audience for the movie, clearly, but
Right.
just no thanks. We're good.
Yep. Next up, we have Street Fighter. This is starring Jason Momoa, David Dastmalchian. I don't know too much about this one. They're Street Fighters who reunite for the World Warrior tournament. Looks like pure action. I'm not too, intrigued by the premise, the cast or anything. It seems like one that if I hear it's good, then great. But if not, I'm not really running out to see this one. What about you?
Yeah, it's based on the video game series.
Right.
They made a Street Fighter movie many years ago, so they're trying it out again. This time, trying to make it capture the vein and the spirit of the game. And yeah, I'm not too excited for this either, but I enjoy a good action movie every once in a while. And this looks ridiculous, and I'm sure it knows that it's ridiculous, but I'm sure it's also going to take itself very seriously. And speaking of movies that, well, not really. I don't know where I was going with that transition. But next one is How to Make a Killin', which stars Glenn Powell, who everybody loves Glenn Powell. I mean, if you don't like Glenn Powell, then there's a serious problem. We also have Margaret Qualley, Ed Harris, Jessica Henwick, Topher Grace, Bill Camp. Very good cast. It's directed by John Patton Ford, who made a film called Emily the Criminal from a few years ago, which had Audrey Plaza in probably her most serious role to date, which was a very underappreciated film that came out in 2022. And the trailer did drop for this. I haven't watched it, admittedly. I want to go into this knowing as little as possible. And it's distributed by A24. So anytime A24 puts something out, I'm intrigued. But this seems to be kind of like a dark comedy, maybe a darker version of Hitman, possibly? Question mark. We'll have to see. But I like the cast, and yeah. How about you? What do you think of this?
Yeah, well, just in terms of Glenn Powell's recent output, I'm hoping it's much more Hitman than The Running Man.
Oh, of course.
Which, yeah, yeah, John Patton Ford. I loved Emily the Criminal, and that was a more like grounded drama, sort of, lo-fi sort of thing. This seems a little more ambitious in scope and tone, so it's probably, it's a little more like I hope it can balance that well and manage the tone there between, dark comedy being funny, being serious, whatever it's gonna go for. I do also try to avoid trailers, but I saw this one before a movie in the theater, so it looks like it could, like I said, like it looks like it could go either way. It looks like I'm hopeful that it's good. I enjoy movies like this when they're done well,
Yeah.
but just hope that this is a good example of it.
Yeah. Can we just talk briefly about how great of a film Hitman is?
Oh,
Like,
Hitman's wonderful,
Hitman
yeah.
is awesome. That movie is just so outstanding. And I saw a comment the other day where someone called it low tier Linklater, and I'm like, you need to get the fuck out of here if you call
Yeah.
that low tier Linklater. And listen, Linklater has made a lot of
I mean,
masterpieces,
yeah, he has a lot of great stuff, so
and
it's
like
hard
that
to
may not be a
compete.
masterpiece, but that's honestly up there for some of his best work that he's ever done.
Definitely, yeah. Check out Hitman if you haven't. Next up, also coming out next couple months, we have Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride. So this is her take on sort of Bride of Frankenstein. It stars Jessie Buckley as the bride, Christian Bale as the monster. And I'm very excited for this. I loved Maggie Gyllenhaal's debut feature, The Lost Daughter, from a couple years ago. I thought she had a really good, sensibility there. This one, the trailer for this, which again had saw it before a movie came out, couldn't really avoid it. The trailer looks a little like tonally it's going for like something kind of punky, and it's in a way that people were like, this could possibly be annoying, which I certainly hope that's not the case. I hope that it's all managed well, and that we can get a really cool, stylish story out of this. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say that this is one of the more anticipated films of the year for me. I love The Lost Daughter as well. I thought it was one of the great debuts from an actor turned director of recent memory. And talk about a completely different
Yeah.
film to follow up that with. I love Jessie Buckley. I mean, it's interesting that this film is going to come out when she's promoting this. It's going to be while she's in the midst of campaign for what will likely be her first Oscar with
She could
Hamnet
very
and everything.
potentially be an Oscar winner as this comes out. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Christian Bale, I mean, you can't go wrong with him. And the rest of the ensemble, too, is stacked. I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal's in this, Peter Sarsgaard, Penelope Cruz, Annette Bening. There's a very good cast. And yeah, I definitely get that vibe from the trailer, too, where it could be a bit punkish and everything. Like, a lot of people compare this to, like, Joker, but I hope it's not in that vein. Although
Or or
I
like or like Cruella a little bit, like that kind of
Cruella,
that
yeah.
vibe. Yeah.
Although I do like the first Joker, and I like Cruella. Joker 2, Folie à Deux, more like Folie à Doo. But hoping that this one's really, really good. I'm excited, certainly. And it's coming out right around my birthday, so I'm looking forward to that. We need more good movies to come out around Brian's birthday. I just want to point that out. Just want to address that to all the filmmakers out there. Next up is Onslaught, which is the new film from Adam Wingard and the stars Adria Arjona. Speaking of Hitman,
Yes.
and Dan Stevens and Rebecca Hall. It's about a mother living in a trailer park who uses her skills to protect her loved ones from a threat that escaped a secret military base while mercenaries try to contain it. So, a premise that we've heard many, many times before and probably many more times after this, but this sounds like it's going to be one of those cool genre films. Adam Wingard is primarily known for his horror ventures like Your Next and The Guest, but he's also ventured into blockbuster territory. He made Godzilla vs. Kong, as well as the recent Godzilla x Kong movie. I like the cast. This is also A24, and yeah, I mean, the premise alone sounds like it could be a fun little midnight-y genre movie. So these movies are not always my bread and butter, but this one sounds like it could be. And I love Adria Arjona. I'm such a fan of her. Anytime she's in anything now, I'll watch her. Whatever she does going forward, I will be see it. So what about you? How do you feel about Onslaught?
Yeah, I agree. Adria, Dan Stevens, and Rebecca Hall all are, a big draw for me. So yeah, cool genre film. Hopefully it's a good one. Switching to another genre, we have an entry in the Jumanji franchise this year. I am not caught up on that series. I think that's I like the original movie, the Robin Williams movie. But yeah, I've heard decent things about it. I've heard that it's a pretty good watch, but haven't dipped into this series, so don't really know too much about this one. But what about you?
I enjoyed the Robin Williams one as well. I definitely grew up with that one, watching it a lot when I was younger. I do like these Jumanji films with Dwayne Johnson, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, and what's her name? Karen Gillan. I enjoyed these ones. It's been so long since the last one came out, so I'm
Yeah.
surprised that it took this long to make another one and everything. 7 years. The last one came out. I mean, I'll never forget it. It was literally like 2 months before the world shut down. I'll never forget that and everything. But I know that Dwayne Johnson recently came out saying that this is it for
The
this
last
series.
one,
Like this
yeah.
is the last one and everything. So I'm looking forward to it. They're fun. They're entertaining. They're nothing special. They're nothing memorable. But for when you do watch them, they're a fun enough time, and that's good enough for me.
Yep.
Next up, we have Clara and the Sun, which is directed by Taika Waititi and stars Amy Adams and Jenna Ortega. This is a sci-fi drama following a robot girl designed to prevent loneliness who tries to save a heartbroken family of humans. So this is a mixed bag. Amy Adams is a queen, but she hasn't been in a great movie in so long.
Her recent filmography is a travesty.
It is. It all went downhill when she wasn't nominated for the Oscar for Arrival. And honestly, Jenna Ortega, her filmography isn't the best either, let's be honest. But she has talent in her, and we'll always love Amy Adams. But the Taika
Yeah.
Waititi of it all is what makes me scratch my head a little bit. Now, he's only directing this. He has no credits to the screenplay. So I think that this could be in the right direction for him. I'm curious to see him tackle this material because even though on IMDb it says sci-fi drama, who knows if like he's gonna find a way to incorporate his like comedy and humor into this. So I have no idea how this is gonna pan out. Quite frankly, I'm hit or miss with Taika Waititi. When he hits, he really hits for me, but when he misses, he really, really misses. So this could be like a Hunt for the Wilder People, or this could be a Thor: Love and Thunder. So we'll have to see how this fares. So what about you? Are you a Taika girly, or no? You're not. You can't stand him.
No, I'm pretty much a fan. Yeah, I think that I love Thor Ragnarok. I really like Jojo Rabbit, even though I know that has
I
some
like Jojo
detractors.
Rabbit too.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm rooting for him. I think he's fallen out of favor a little bit, but yeah, I would definitely be thrilled if he comes back with something that's a really cool offering like this.
Yeah, and I need Amy Adams to be in the great movie again.
True.
I
Yeah.
didn't hate Night Bitch though. I didn't hate that movie.
Me neither. Yeah, that was not too bad. But we got Dear Evan Hansen, we got the Justice League stuff. It's been
And
dark for a while.
what movie did she make a sequel to? Enchanted.
Disenchanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, not great.
Ugh,
Not
not
what you
good
want.
at all. What's next?
Next up, we have The Young People. This is if it's another year, it's another Osgood Perkins movie. That man really likes to work.
Mm-hmm.
This description says two school friends drift apart as one starts exhibiting disturbing behavior, turning their relationship sinister. This one I'm not looking forward to that much. Osgood Perkins, I haven't loved his output. I was sort of a detractor for Long Legs, even though I know that was really popular. The Monkey was definitely going for something different, and more of a satire, more of a dark comedy. I get it; it just didn't really work for me that much. My girl Nicole Kidman is in this new one, so that's intriguing to me. That might be enough to get me in the door alone, but otherwise, probably not really my style. What about you?
Yeah, he's not really one that I'm big on either. Admittedly, I've only seen Long Legs and The Monkey. I really liked Long Legs until the third act, when everything was explained to us. I think the first two acts of Long Legs are like genuinely incredible, but once Nicolas Cage leaves the film, it really falls down in my opinion. And The Monkey, oh my god, what a slog to get through. I
Yeah.
didn't see his recent one, Keeper, with Tatiana Maslany. I haven't seen that yet, so I can't comment on that. This one, yeah, I mean, Nicole Kidman being in it is definitely like a huge selling point. So, maybe it'll make me want to watch it because Nicole Kidman in horror. I mean, I don't know if you've seen any horror movies with Nicole Kidman, but she needs to do more of them because when she's in a horror movie,
Absolutely.
it's usually quite good. So maybe this will be a bounce upward for Osgood Perkins.
Yeah.
Speaking
The
of
The
horror,
Others is one of my top tier of all time. The Others for Nicole Kidman. Yeah.
I have been wanting to watch that for years. I have the Criterion literally right behind me, and I need to check that out. Maybe I'll watch it this weekend now that it was brought up.
Do it.
Speaking of horror, our next film is called October. This is directed by Jeremy Saulnier, another favorite filmmaker in the genre world, director of Blue Ruin and Green Room and Rebel Ridge and Hold the Dark. Um, this stars a wide variety of people. We have Corey Michael Smith, Chase Sue Wonders, Imogen Poots, Stephen Root, Sophie Wilde, Maddie Matheson. This is set on Halloween night, and it follows a terrifying chain of events unfolding in this action-packed horror thriller. So there's really no plot synopsis. Another A24 horror film. I just keep getting
Yep.
these and everything. It's crazy. It wasn't like this list was planned or anything. It wasn't like I purposely picked these films. No, I love Green Room. That came out 10 years ago, which is crazy. Like, it's crazy how fast time goes and everything. But yeah, the cast intrigues me, and I like a good genre film. I don't want to be repetitive, but sometimes these work for me, other times they don't, and we'll see how this one fares. And Corey Michael Smith, he's an awesome talent, super underrated. I think constantly about his performance in Saturday Night. He was so good as Chevy Chase in that movie, and I was bummed that he was only in 5 seconds of sentimental value. But I liked his little segments. I
True.
liked when Stellan Skarsgård closed the door on him. I thought that was great.
Yeah, he's so good in Todd Haynes movies too, in both Carol and May
Absolutely.
December. I really love him in those. So yeah, love him. Jeremy Saulnier, I love Green Room. Haven't had a chance to catch up on Rebel Ridge, but I know that's well liked. Stephen Root is just like the best character actor ever. So always
Oh my
happy to
God. How
see
did
him
he
doing
not win an
something.
Emmy for Barry? I was just talking about this with someone the
Yeah,
other day. Like, incredible.
definitely. Yeah, so looking forward to it. Next up, we have another Hunger Games entry. The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping. This one is explores the Hunger Games 24 years before Katniss and all that. There's been a lot of talk about casting for this movie. You know, I think people are pretty excited about, the casting the younger versions of people. Elle Fanning as Effie Trinket, Kieran Culkin as Caesar, Ray Fiennes as President Snow, things like that. I'm personally not a Hunger Games person. I definitely saw the first one when it came out. I didn't really keep up on the series after that, but I've heard good things. I heard good things about the one a few years ago with Rachel Zegler, and so yeah, I'm curious about this. Maybe I'll catch up a little bit more on the series before this comes out and get caught up. What about you?
Yeah, The Hunger Games isn't my favorite series, admittedly. I've seen all the movies. I think Catching Fire is genuinely fantastic. Like, that's a great movie on its own and definitely worth watching. I wasn't too high on the last Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I
Yeah.
wasn't too crazy about that. And I love Rachel Zegler, but that film ultimately did nothing for me, but I'm very excited for this one. I thought the trailer that they dropped a while back was really, really cool. And the casting that I'm most excited for is Glenn Close, who I didn't even know was her in that trailer until after that trailer dropped. Because everyone's like, oh, it's Glenn Close. And I'm like, no, it's not. That's not Glenn Close. And then like I had to look carefully, and I'm like, okay, I could see a little bit of her, but kudos to the makeup team because I think the makeup team just won their Oscar. I think they just secured their Oscar
Yeah.
for making Glenn Close look very, very different. But yeah, you brought up Elle Fanning and Ray Fiennes and Kieran Culkin, but also Jesse Plemons is in this, McKenna Grace, Maya Hawke. And then also supposedly Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson are coming back for this movie. How are they going to come back? I don't know. I have no idea what they're going to do with them. Also, Kelvin Harrison Jr. is in this, and he's great. And Billy Porter, he's also in this too. So very good cast lined up here. Very interested to see where this goes. Is this like a top priority for me? No, but I'll be there opening weekend to watch it, and I'm sure it'll be quite good. Next up, a film that I will be there opening weekend for. Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Missima. Now, this is the follow up to Jane Schoenbrun's I Saw the TV Glow, which was my favorite film of 2024. This is about a queer director making a slasher franchise sequel who becomes obsessed with casting the original film's final girl, leading both women into psychological and sexual chaos. So it sounds very horny, very insane, and it sounds very much up my alley. It stars Gillian Anderson and one of my absolute favorite people working today, the incredible, the talented, the beautiful Emmy winner Hannah Eyebinder. I love everything about this. This sounds so exciting. This sounds so great. After I saw the TV Glow. That's a tongue twister to say out loud. I was like, I will watch anything that Jane Schoenbrun makes going forward, and this sounds so exciting. And the idea of it following a filmmaker who decides to make a sequel to a successful horror film, it's very meta, very on the nose, and I think that the two leads headline this film. It's just perfect. So, what about you? Are you looking forward to this? I'm so excited. This is like top five most anticipated of the year for me.
Yeah, I am excited too. Yeah, I also liked. I saw the TV Glow. Yeah, I had it pretty high on my list that year. I got to see with a Q&A with Jane Schoenberg afterwards. I loved hearing them talk about it. Like I really liked their sensibility, their sort of the way they engage with media and pop culture and stuff like that. And I'm sure this is going to incorporate that as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely exciting. And for Gillian Anderson and Hannah Einbinder too, they're both great. Let's see. Next up, we have Cry to Heaven. This is directed by Tom Ford. It follows Tonio, a nobleman castrated by his half brother, who rises to fame as a soprano under the guidance of opera star Guido. The story explores betrayal, identity, and redemption. This stars Daryl McCormick, Tandaway Newton, Hunter Schafer. I think it might be based on a novel. Might be a Anne Rice one there. So yeah, cool cast. Sounds intense. Sounds kind of dark. Tom Ford. He's done Nocturnal Animals. A Single Man. I think that was his. So probably not my favorite director, but I'm intrigued. I'm excited to see what this has in store.
Yeah, I love Nocturnal Animals. I admittedly haven't seen A Single Man, but Nocturnal Animals was a film that really, really, really worked for me. And it's been 10 years since that film, so I'm excited that Tom
Yeah.
Ford is coming back. And, he has some actors that he's previously worked with, like Aaron Taylor Johnson, who was in Nocturnal Animals and then Colin Firth, who obviously was the star of A Single Man, and then you have Nicholas Hoult, Kieran Hines, Paul Bettany, Owen Cooper, Mark Strong, George McKay, Statcast. Oh, and Pedro Pascal's sister.
Oh, cool.
Oh, and Adele.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did hear that Adele was sort of making her debut this year. That's interesting.
I haven't heard much about Adele in years, so you know what? If this gets her the Oscar winner, Adele, by the way. So I hope that when they do the trailer for this, they label her as Oscar winner Adele, and then everyone's gonna be like,
Yeah,
Oscar winner. What did she win for? Oh yeah, that's right. The best James Bond
the
song of
James
all
Bond song.
time. Next up, Violent Night 2, the sequel to the film that starred David Harbour as a very violent, brutal Santa Claus. Violent Night was fine. It was pretty forgettable overall. Like, it was entertaining, but never had an inkling of going back to a like other Christmas movie. So, yeah, I mean, whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, same. I think I started the first Violent Night, and whatever happened, I didn't end up finishing it. Not because I turned it off or anything, but yeah, just never wasn't one that stuck with me or anything. So yeah, if it comes out, I'll check it out. But
Exactly.
not not dying to see it.
Right.
One that I am dying to see is The Entertainment System is Down. This is the new film from Ruben Östlund. So the logline is that it's set on a long-haul flight where entertainment system fails. This film will see passengers forced to face the horror of being bored. It stars Keanu Reeves, Kirsten Dunst, Tobias Menzies, Daniel Bruhl, Samantha Morton, a couple other people. I really like Ruben Östlund. I love Force Majeure, for his film from 2014, I believe. And then I really liked Triangle of Sadness a couple years ago. That had a big run with awards and stuff like that. He's a bit of a like maybe abrasive sort of director. He does like these satires that can be a little broad or a little crude or anything, but they usually work for me. And this sounds like a cool, sort of riff on our attention spans and our ability to, interact with one another. And I'm curious to see what he's got to say about that right now. So what do you think?
I want to be excited for this because it has Keanu Reeves and Kirsten Dunst. I hated Triangle of Sadness
Oh
so
yeah.
much. I admittedly I haven't seen anything else that he's put out, so maybe I'm doing myself a disservice by not watching any of his other work. Force Majeure has been on my watch list for many years, so I need to set aside some time and check that out. But the premise of this sounds very fascinating, and the cast is definitely intriguing. But I just Triangle of Sadness left such a bad taste in my mouth that when I see Ruben Östlund's name, I just want to throw up like the characters in that movie. And I don't know, maybe I'm due to give Triangle of Sadness a let her go, but that film literally did nothing for me, and I wanted to love it so much, and I just walked out of it going, that's the film that everybody's praising. Well, to each their own, I guess. That being said, though, I'm intrigued by this. I'm intrigued. And Keanu Reeves being in it, just give him the world. He deserves the world.
Yeah,
Same with Kirsten
Keanu and
Dunst.
Kiki. Let's go. Whatever they want to
Absolutely.
do.
Absolutely. Transition to a director who I am a fan of. We have Danny Boyle's new film. It's called Ink. There's not a ton that is revealed about this yet. It is following a group of misfits and visionaries who had an idea for a new kind of news, one that would give the people what they want and would change the face of the world that we live in today. We have Jack O'Connell headlining the cast. Alongside him, we have Guy Pearce, who's playing Rupert Murdoch. We have Claire Foy. We have other people whose names I do not know. But those three actors that I just listed, I like all of them. I like Danny Boyle a lot. I mean, Danny Boyle just had 28 Years Later come out this past year, and obviously we'll be touching upon the 28 Years Later sequel at some point during this episode. But yeah, Danny Boyle being attached to it is a huge selling point for me. And Jack O'Connell, I mean, if you look at the year that he just had with Sinners, and then, of course, he's about to be in the 28 Years Later sequel, and then Guy Pearce, who was just Oscar nominated for The Brutalist, and Claire Foy, who we all love. I personally really love her. I think she's super underrated. I'm looking forward to this. Anytime that Danny Boyle has a film out, I'm seeing it. What about you? How do you feel about this one?
Agree. Yeah, cool cast. Cool premise and everything. Yeah, Danny Boyle. I think he's got an eclectic sort of filmography and stuff, but for the most part, I'm a fan. definitely gonna see anything that he puts out. Let's see. Moving on, we have another superhero movie, another one that's probably going to be pretty big this year. Supergirl is coming soon. So the year after James Gunn's Superman, now we have Craig Gillespie directing this one, starring Millie Alcock as Supergirl. It's also going to have Eve Ridley, Emily Beecham, David Cornsweet is making an appearance. Jason Momoa has been cast in a role. So for this one, I'm pretty similar on the Spider-Man front. Like, I'll go see it. The first Superman, I liked it. I thought it was pretty solid. It had some core elements to it that I really really loved. Some good characters, some good plot lines, things like that. And then I think it got a little bogged down with like the superhero junk, trying to set up, the rest of the cinematic universe, that sort of thing. So, I'll go into this one with an open mind and definitely hoping that it's good, and we'll see which elements of it are, hold up.
Yeah, I loved the new Superman. I'm intrigued to see how this Supergirl movie plays out. I thought the trailer was kind of promising, although if they hurt Crypto, then it gets a 1 star automatically on Letterboxd. So I'm interested. Certainly, it's not the superhero movie I'm most excited to see this year, but I'm definitely interested to see how this pans out. I'm very interested to see how James Gunn's DC universe progresses going forward.
Yeah.
Next up, it would be me. That would be Joe Cohen's next film, Jack of Spades, which is a gothic mystery film set in 1880s Scotland and headlined by everyone's favorite working man, Josh O'Connor, as well as Damian Lewis, Leslie Manville, and Joe Cohen's wife, Frances McDormand. Joe Cohen directed The Tragedy of Macbeth on his own. That was the first time that he directed a film, I believe, without the help of his brother. And Tragedy of Macbeth was outstanding. It was incredible. And I find it hard to believe that this won't be incredible as well. Unfortunately, when the Coens split up and they started doing their own films, I think it was safe to say that we knew who the superior director was. No disrespect to Ethan Coen, but his 2 films that he's directed on his own haven't really shown a lot of promise with him behind the camera without the help of his brother. But if this is anything like Tragic Macbeth, I expect this to be great. And Josh O'Connor, say no more. What about you? How do you feel about this?
Yeah, this is definitely in my top anticipated movies. Like I said on our last episode, Coen Brothers, that filmography is like probably if I could take one filmography to a desert island, like it would probably be that. So I love the Coen Brothers. I'm sad that they don't make movies together right now. Never say never. They could definitely come back. But yeah, for Joel Cohen, I also love Tragedy of Macbeth. I think it was gorgeous. It was well staged, well acted, all of that. But this is really the first chance to see what he's really going to be like on his own. That was almost more of just a directorial exercise. He didn't, change the text of Shakespeare or anything. So, this is sort of to see like a little bit more of his sensibilities. And Ethan, as he's been on his own, I liked Drive Away Dolls. Honey Don't was like Drive Away Dolls, but worse. And so, I'm sort of, I hope he doesn't continue down that path that much longer. He's got one more movie coming out that's sort of a trilogy. So yeah, I think at this point, if I had to pick, I'm a little more intrigued with what Joel has going on. And this is a gothic mystery in 1880s Scotland. It sounds like right up my alley. I'm very excited, and I hope that Josh O'Connor can take a nap sometime soon because he seems to absolutely never stop working. But I'm happy to see it if he wants to keep putting out these great performances for us. So yeah, this is super high on my most anticipated list.
Hell yeah.
Something else that's high on my list and probably a lot of other cinephiles and A24 fans, The Drama.
Going from one Challengers actor to another Challengers
There you
actor.
go, yeah. Challengers everywhere with those for eyes to see. We have The Drama with Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. They're a pairing who are going to keep showing up this year. This is directed by Christopher Borgli, I believe. He did Dream Scenario a few years ago with Nicolas Cage, which I was a big fan of. I thought that was a pretty cool movie.
Excellent movie.
Yeah. This also has Alana Haim, Zoe Winters. So yeah, I've tried to stay away from knowing too much about this one. What I've heard floating around is that there's some sort of twist or plot thing that I don't want to know anything about. I want to be surprised when it comes out. Mostly what I've seen is that sort of like promo photo of the two of them together, and like I'm in. I don't even really know what's happening, but it's a happily engaged couple is put to the test when an unexpected turn sends their wedding week off the rails. So I want to know. I'll be there for the hottest couple of the year. What about you?
I want to know what the drama is. I want to know what drama is going to unfold. I'm so excited for this. When you have these two incredibly beautiful and talented people working together, I expect nothing but greatness. Dream Scenario was such an incredible film. I loved it so much. I think it was right outside my top 10 of 2023, and I expect this film to be great as well. And I swear to God, if we have another film that wastes Alana Haim, I am going to be pissed because I don't like how in 2025 she was wasted in not only one but two movies, and if she's wasted again, then we're doing ourselves a huge disservice to her because what she did in Licorice Pizza, they should just give her every leading role possible. But I understand she's a multi-award winning musician, so she's very busy on that front. But don't underutilize her in movies, please. I'm just so tired of that. But yeah, this sounds great. I'm expecting it to be great. I'm very, very excited to see how it plays out. One that I'm also very intrigued by is Look Back, which is one of two films directed by Koreeda coming out this year. Now, this is actually based on a Japanese animated film that came out not only 2 years ago, I think it came out. It's a very
Yeah.
recent film, so this is a live action adaptation of it. And this came out of nowhere. This was just announced literally out of the blue not too long ago. And everyone was like, wait, Koreeda is doing a look back movie? Oh, this is going to be outstanding. Now, he's a filmmaker who I haven't seen a ton from, admittedly. I'm very behind on my Koreeda watching, but he's a very fascinating filmmaker. He's one that's very respected in the cinephile world and not just the international world, but just in general, a lot of people love him. So I'm sure this will be great. I haven't seen the anime version, but it's one that's been on my list ever since it dropped. So yeah, I don't know a ton about this, but I'm intrigued.
Exact same boat as you. Yeah, I've had the animated one on my list for a while. Heard good things about Koreeda's other films. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna catch up with the animated one first and then check this out for sure. Another one we have coming up is The Dog Stars. So this will be directed by Ridley Scott. In a post-apocalyptic world, a virus wipes out humanity. Survivors face roaming scavengers called Reapers. Protagonist Hig, a pilot, survived the flu but lost his wife. So this is starring Josh Brolin, Jacob Elordi, Margaret Qualley, Guy Pearce again, Benedict Wong. Yeah, I'm definitely into, Ridley Scott, also a bit of a like checkered filmography, but I think he's had some high highs. I really was a fan of The Last Duel a couple of years ago, 2021,
Yeah.
I want to say. I
Hmm.
think that was a little underrated, got kind of, lost in the shuffle after COVID, things like that. So yeah, I'm definitely intrigued what he's up to next. What about you?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I love The Last Duel mentioned. That movie is fantastic and super underappreciated, and it wasn't fair that that movie had to get affected by the pandemic and everything, but it's one that I think is going to be much more embraced as the years go on. And this one sounds really promising too. And I love that Ridley Scott, being a filmmaker that's almost 90 years old, is still pumping out
Yeah.
movies to this day like he's in his 30s. It's crazy. And the Jacob Elordi of it all, just keep giving that guy all the roles. I'm very excited to see all the roles that he does and everything. So yeah, I think this one sounds very promising. One that doesn't sound very promising is Mortal Kombat 2. Um, Another movie based on a video game. The first Mortal Kombat that came out in 2021 during the pandemic was fine. It was entertaining. It was whatever, I guess. And they're making a sequel. Carl Urban's in it, which makes me intrigued and everything because I do love him a lot. But otherwise, I don't really care about this one. What about you? Is this a Veronica movie or nah? Not really.
It is not a Veronica movie, no. I do love Carl Urban. I'm sure he's good in anything, but no, I don't have any relationship to the video game or the film series, so this is probably a skip for me.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, I'm not too intrigued by Lee Cronin's The Mummy, which is coming out this year. I'm not even familiar with I don't is this in the same like film series as, the earlier Mummy movies, or is this its own thing?
I think this is supposed to be like in the same vein as like the
Yeah.
Invisible Man and the Wolf Man. It's supposed to be like
Oh, okay, this is
just
the
like
Universal
separate
Monster sort
things.
of
Yeah,
series. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's the sort of thing. I mean, if it's like a pure horror movie, it could probably, have some interest for me. Let's see how they would handle that. If it's in that sort of canon. But yeah, don't know too much about it, and we'll see when it gets closer if it's looking promising or looking a little rough.
Yeah, you can't be any worse than the Mummy movie with Tom Cruise, which I think
True.
even he recognizes is like a huge fumble in his filmography. So, yeah, I'm in the same boat. There's not much anticipation from me with this one, and also the same could be said about our next film, which is Michael, which is of course the biopic about Michael Jackson, directed by Antoine Fuqua, who I actually really like. I enjoy his
Hmm.
films and everything. This actually stars Michael Jackson's nephew, which is very interesting casting. But then also you have Coma Domingo, Miles Teller, Nia Long, a bunch of other people here. Listen, you have Coma Domingo and anything, of course I'm gonna watch it. He's literally the
True.
GOAT. He's like my guy and everything. But I'm so tired of the music biopics. I don't hate music biopics the way that a lot of other people do, but I don't know. The trailer for this just it really did nothing for me. And supposedly this might be a two-part movie, which is absolutely asinine
Yeah.
for a biopic. Come on, like this is absurd. But and I like Michael Jackson's music, but yeah, I don't know. I'll watch it, but I don't know. I'm very hit or miss with the music biopics. Mostly miss.
Yeah, I would also file this one under the it's scaring me tab. It can definitely like whatever the, not looking forward to the discourse when it comes out. I'm not looking, it's I'm not that big a fan of music biopics. I think that, it has to be something really well done to like get past that hurdle of they just tend to be so formulaic and everything. And I think with this one, it's already sort of off on the wrong foot because it's the family is just so involved with it. Like that you're not going to get any sort of like real insight or any warts and all sort of depiction like that sometimes makes it worth it because you can like get a better insight as to what actually happened. And this seems like it's just going to be greatest hits and things like that, and I'm not really looking forward to that kind of movie. And I think the controversy with Michael Jackson, I think that people are going to have issues just going to see it. I'm not looking forward to film Twitter the week that this comes out, although like you said, Coleman Domingo is in it, so that's a saving grace.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we have the love hypothesis. This description is that after an impulsive kiss, two scientists end up in a fake relationship, testing their theories about love and each other. It's directed by Claire Scanlon. How are you feeling about this one?
The only reason why I put this on the list is because this is apparently based on Star Wars fan fiction. I don't know if you've
Oh,
ever
okay.
looked at the book cover. You should look up the book cover right now. It's literally like Rey and Kylo Ren. And
Got you. This is the Raylo fanfic. Yeah.
yes, yes, it is. And I'm intrigued just on that regard. And also, wait, who's in the Lily
Lily
Reinhardt's in
Reinhart
this,
is in this.
and
Yeah.
I love her so much. And Tom Bateman, which is hilarious because he's the husband of Daisy Ridley. So I think that that's just very, very interesting. But otherwise, I mean, I don't really care too much about this. I just thought it was a very funny movie to put on the list and everything. But it's directed by the woman who directed Set It Up with Glenn Powell and Zoe Deutsch, and apparently that's a favorite amongst the film community, which I never understood that. To be fair, I haven't seen it, so I can't comment. But yeah, Lily Reinhardt, I'll watch.
Yeah, I do love her.
Do love her indeed. All right, next up, probably maybe the biggest movie coming out this year? Question mark, maybe.
We'll see.
Avengers Doomsday. We all know who's in this. We all know what it's about. We don't need to say anything. Listen, this film could really go either way. This film could be very good or it could be really bad. The Russo brothers, you could say what you want about them. They've put out a lot of garbage in the last few years. However, the work that they've done with Marvel is honestly up there for the best work that has been in the MCU. So I really don't know how to feel about this. There's elements of it that I'm like, oh, it's getting me intrigued, but then there's other things that are pushing me away, like why are we bringing Steve Rogers back, and why is Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom when we could have cast literally anyone else to play him? But that being said, I'll be there opening night with my buddies watching it, and we'll probably have a fun time. We'll have to see, but I don't know. I don't know. Like, how do you
Will
feel?
Will you be there opening night or will you be seeing Dune instead? Because they're coming out on the same date as of now.
That's true. I mean,
Yeah.
Avengers Dunes Day.
Doomsday.
That'll be the double feature. No, genuinely, I don't know how to feel about this. I really don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I think that I've been sort of off the Marvel train for the last couple of years now, since I tried for a while. I was, seeing everything and keeping up with it and stuff, and just the storytelling just isn't really there. I was so dismayed by the Robert Downey Jr. coming back thing. It was like it just reeks of we have no new ideas. We want to go back to the thing
Desperation.
that yeah, go back to the thing that everybody loved and try to put lightning in a bottle once again, rather than developing new stars, rather than going for different stories and trying to build those up the way that the original series was built out in the different phases and stuff. So yeah, I'm sure I will see it because it will be the dominating movie along with Dune that week. But yeah, I'm not hopeful for this at all. It seems like kind of dire
Yeah,
for Marvel's outlook.
agreed.
Let's see. Next up, we have one that I am very much looking forward to, Greta Gerwig's Narnia, The Magician's Nephew, I believe it is subtitled. This one is, so far, the cast we know is Daniel Craig, Emma Mackey as the White Witch, Ella McKay herself, Carey Mulligan, and Denise Scuff. So this one, yeah, I'm excited for this. I am such a Greta Gerwig girl. I'm totally in the bag for her. It's not what I would have picked for her next project. Going into this IP and doing it for Netflix, apparently she's negotiated some theatrical run along with it. So, I would have rathered that she write something original, work on some other sort of non-IP project, but this is what she wants to do. In Greta, I trust, and I'll be there excited day one.
Yeah, I mean, Greta Gerwig can make a movie about anything, and I'll still be there opening weekend to watch because she's made three incredible films.
Yep.
And, I wouldn't have wanted her to do a Narnia movie either, but it's Greta Gerwig making it, and I'm sure it's going to be excellent. I hate that it's a Netflix movie, though. I hate that she's working with Netflix on this and everything, but. If they're giving her the money to produce the Narnia film that she's wanted to make, then so be it. I'll be there watching. And yeah, Emma Mackey, that's perfect casting as the White Witch.
Yeah.
That's she just has the look to her. And honestly, she needs to bounce up after Ellen McKay. Although I haven't seen it, so I can't comment.
I have seen it. She does need to bounce back. It was
Well,
not good.
that's reassuring. Next up, speaking of bouncing back, kind of, sort of, I Play Rocky, which is a biopic about how Sylvester Stallone made Rocky and everything. So I grew up in a household where Rocky was a huge watch in the Sutfield household and everything. So Rocky is a film that I adore, and of course I'll watch a movie that's about the making of it. Peter Farrelly directing this, though, is a bit of a question mark for me because I still think that, not saying the Farrelly brothers have made quality cinema, but their best work are the comedies that they've made with Jim Carrey and everything. That's about it. Although I don't hate Green Book like everyone else does. I just want to get that out there. But I also don't think it's a great film either. So I just want to get that out there. But you know what? The guy that they picked to play Sylvester Stallone looks exactly like him. And then you have Matt Dillon in it, Toby Kebbell, Tracy Letts, everyone's favorite physical media collector, Anna Sophia Robb, Jay Duplass, PJ Byrne, all these other people, Stephen James. Really good cast. So I'll watch, but cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I don't really have an attachment to the Rocky movies very much. I don't have an attachment to Peter Farrelly. I am not a Green Book fan. I mean, obviously, I think that reputation got worse because it won Best Picture and everything.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, nothing about this is all that appealing for me.
Yes.
This one is slightly more appealing to me. We have The Back Rooms. So a series of disturbing home videos captures supernatural events that terrorize their witnesses. It's directed by Kane Parsons. This is, once again, Renata Reinsve. She's out there. She's everywhere. Chiwetel Ejiofor, Mark Duplass. Yeah, this sounds like a pretty cool horror-tinged movie, body horror sort of thing. So, again, don't know too much about it as of now, but sounds intriguing to me.
Yeah, A24 is behind this, and the director of this is actually this made huge headlines because the director of this is only like 20 years old. So this was like a huge story, being like the youngest director putting out like a studio horror film and everything. And it's like, oh, he's 20 years old and gets to direct. We're not a Ryan's Fight, and what are we doing? Pfft, nothing of any value, apparently. But no, it sounds very cool. Sounds very intriguing, as well as the next film we're talking about, which is The Uprising, which is directed by Paul Greengrass and stars Thomasin McKenzie and my favorite man in the entire world, Andrew Garfield. In plague-ravaged 14th century England, it follows a peasant who triggers a rebellion against King Richard II and unintentionally becomes a legend of resistance. So, Andrew Garfield, that's all you have to sell me. So I'm there, seated. I like Paul Greengrass. I didn't see The Lost Bus. It didn't really look like anything appealing, but I do like Paul Greengrass. I like United 93, Captain Phillips. I like his Bourne movies. So yeah, I'm interested in this one to say the least.
Yeah, this also, Thomas and Mackenzie. This also has Jamie Bell, Cosmo Jarvis, Stephen Delane. Yeah, just a whole host of actors that I like. So yeah, I'm into it. What I'm really into is
Hmm.
Disclosure Day from Mr. Steven Spielberg. This one, there has been a trailer out. I've sort of just seen little bits of it. I didn't really want to like see the whole thing in full because I want to try to build up anticipation. But the log line is: if you found out we weren't alone, if someone showed you, proved it to you, would that frighten you? This is believe to be sort of some sort of alien invasion movie, starring Mr. Josh O'Connor, of course, Emily Blunt, Colin Firth, Coleman Domingo as well, also booked and busy, Wyatt Russell. Yeah, this is the prospect of a new alien themed Steven Spielberg movie that could, harken back to E.T., Close Encounters, one of my favorites, War of the Worlds. I think that this is just so exciting. I think that Spielberg is actually sort of like, for being, one of the first directors you think of when you think of, giant film auteurs and everything. I think he's a little underrated in like the 21st century, sort of. Everyone kind of thinks of his 80s and 90s work. But I think he's been really solid. I really like The Fablemans. I love West Side Story. I thought that was a masterpiece. So I'm always here for anything that he wants to do, especially with Josh O'Connor once again.
Maybe my most anticipated film of the year? Question mark. It's really tough to say, but yeah, I'm so excited for this. This sounds like a return to form for him, as in it feels like classic Spielberg, and I have been yearning for a very classic feel from a Spielberg film in recent memory. And while I do like West Side Story, The Fablemans, all his historical period dramas that he's directed throughout the years and everything, this feels very much like retro Spielberg, and I'm so excited to see it. And the trailer, honestly, I don't need to watch any more. That trailer that came out a while back sold me on it. And yeah, Josh O'Connor and Emily Blunt and Coleman Domingo. Are you kidding? Like, how could you not be excited for this? Like, truly, how can you not be
Yep.
excited? And I love that you mentioned War of the Worlds. Great film, great New Jersey film. Just love it so much. Fantastic film. Next up, one that I'm personally really excited to see, and it comes out actually very, very soon. It's called The Moment. Now, if you don't know what this is, then you're a huge brat because you don't realize that this is the Charlie XCX film, which is supposedly like a mockumentary of her going through her concerts and everything. So the plot synopsis is just a rising pop star navigates the complexities of fame and industry pressure while preparing for her arena tour debut. So very much meta, very on the nose, and you know what? Charlie XCX, whose music I've become very infatuated with over the last few years, and Brat is an all timer of an album. So yeah, whatever this film is, and I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna be there opening weekend because it's Charlie XCX, and also huge ensemble cast. And not only Charlie XCX, but Alexander Skarsgård, Rachel Sennett, Rosanna Arquette, Kate Berlant, Kylie Jenner. So many people are in this, so I'm excited for this, and it's actually premiering at Sundance in a few weeks. So I'm very excited to hear the reactions from that. What about you? Are you looking forward to this? Are you a Charlie girly?
Yeah, Brat Summer Forever. Yeah,
Brat Summer
absolutely.
forever.
Yeah, no, I'm ready to see what this has in store. Yeah, especially Alexander Skarsgård, Rachel Sennett. Yeah, that's definitely super exciting. I like that she's a burgeoning film buff too. She's
Oh
very
my
active on
god.
Letterboxd.
Uh
Love to read
huh.
her reviews. So yeah, I will
Yeah.
follow her anywhere. Two other ladies that I would follow anywhere are Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock, and we'll get to see them this year in Practical Magic 2. The first Practical Magic is not like one of my favorite films. It wasn't like a, Halloween classic for me. I think I only watched it for the first time like a few years ago. And I like it. And I think it's, it's a good, especially just good sort of like put on the Halloween vibes sort of thing. So, yeah, I'll be ready to see them do this again. What about you?
I have never seen Practical Magic, so I can't say that I'm looking forward to this. But like you, Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman are two actors that I'll always watch in anything. So I'll watch for them. I'll definitely catch up with the first one before the second one comes out.
I'll say
And
the first one is a bit of a weirder movie than like you would expect, and I'm
right,
wondering if they're gonna like sand the edges off for this one or kind of keep it a little, a little bit edgy or something. So that's just
yeah,
something to watch out for.
right, right. And speaking of very weird and out there and crazy, we're getting a new Jackass movie, which was literally just announced not even 48 hours ago. Johnny Knoxville went on social media and said, "Oh, hi guys, we have a new Jackass movie coming out in June, on June 26th." And I got so giddy because I love the Jackass franchise so much. These films, as well as the TV show, massive comfort watches for me. Um, when Jackass Forever came out in 2022, it was at a very low point in my life, and that film helped reinvigorate something in me that I thought was lost. So whatever those guys put out next, I'm so excited. Although, admittedly, Jackass Forever felt like a perfect send off to these guys doing these very dangerous, reckless stunts. But you know what? If they want to keep making more, so be it. I'm ready to feel uncomfortable watching this, and yeah, I can't wait. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I've never been into the Jackass series. I've definitely heard good things, and I know that people really love it. So happy for you all to catch up with them again. Yeah, maybe I'll take a look at some of the other ones before this one comes out. Something else that I have not particularly been into, but I'm happy for those that are Colleen Hoover adaptations. So this is the author who did It Ends With Us. That was the big movie, the big Blake Lively movie of last year. And so this year there's going to be Verity, which is going to be directed by Michael Showalter. Stars Anne Hathaway, Dakota Johnson. So, some big names, Josh Hartnett. Big cast. I'm sure this is going to be pretty popular. Like I think those books are really well liked and tend to do good box office. Like I said, not necessarily something that I've been into in the past, but if it's good, I'll check it out. What about you?
The cast is what interests me in this, and that's
Yeah.
that's really it. I love that we're in the Josh Hartnett Renaissance. Oppenheimer, Trap, and now this. I'm excited to see what he does, and obviously Anne Hathaway, of course, we'll watch her in anything. And Dakota Johnson is a favorite of mine, so yeah, I'm interested in that alone. But I could care less about these Colleen Hoover adaptations. But if there's one that you're gonna get my butt in the theater for, this is the one for sure.
They're trying their best to get you.
They are. Something that you will not be getting my butt in the theater for is Insidious 6, The Bleeding World. I don't like this series. I brought up earlier that I really enjoyed the Evil Dead series. That's a horror franchise I really gravitate towards. Insidious is the complete opposite. I cannot stand these movies. These movies do absolutely nothing for me. Why did they keep making more? I know why they keep making more. I just wish that they would stop. And that's my piece on that.
As long as people keep going, I guess. Yeah, I like the first one. I liked it when it came out, but it's not really one of my favorites. So yeah, this isn't all that important to me. Then we also have an adaptation of Sense and Sensibility this year, directed by Georgia Oakley, starring Daisy Edgar Jones, Katrina Balfe, Fiona Shaw, George McKay. This will be interesting to me. It's not something that I'm super into, Sense and Sensibility in particular, but I like a good costume drama if it's well directed, well acted. So definitely looking forward to this one.
I love period pieces. I do love the Sense and Sensibility adaptation from the 90s that Ang Lee directed with Emma Thompson and Kate Winslet. I don't know why we're getting another one, but I mean, the story is so timeless, so it does make sense that we're getting another one ultimately. And I like Daisy Edgar Jones. I know that there are a lot of people that don't really have much fondness for her outside of normal people, but I think she's very talented, and I think that this is a perfect role for her. And then the rest of the cast that you mentioned is really a strong selling point for me. So I'm looking forward to it, certainly. Next up is Scary Movie 6, which is a franchise that I'm not. s- To be fair, I've only seen the first one, so I can't really comment on the other ones, but I do enjoy a good horror parody film. I don't know why we're getting another one, but I know a lot of people are excited for this because Anna Faris and Regina Hall are both coming back. And I'm very interested in seeing this as, I guess, Regina Hall's follow up film to one battle after another.
Yeah, true.
So I'm very interested in that regard. But I know that there are a lot of fans of Scary Movie out there. I can't say that I'm one of them, but I'm certainly not a hater. So I'll definitely go check this out for sure. But I can't say that this is one that I'm going to rush out the theater to see.
Yeah, same. Same boat as you. I think I've seen the first one, but haven't really kept up after that. But a parody is fun. You know, we don't get too many of those anymore. Next up, we have Bitter Christmas, which is Pedro Almodovar's next film. It's Pedro Almodovar. It's Christmas. I'm in. I don't really need to know more than that. I think most recently I really loved Parallel Mothers from him a couple years ago with
Hmm.
Penelope Cruz. So definitely into his output and love a good Christmas movie too.
Yeah, he's another filmmaker that, like Coriata, I haven't really explored his filmography entirely, but I really liked Pain and Glory. I also really liked Parallel Mothers. I wasn't too crazy about his last film. What was The Room Next Door?
From next door,
Yeah, I
yeah.
wasn't too crazy about that. I really appreciate that he decided to venture into English language territory, but I think that it was best that he stuck with his native roots. And yeah, I'm excited to see what he does next. I'm very very interested to see whatever he puts out. Just like with the next film we're talking about, which is a film called Wild Horse Night, which is the new film from director Martin McDonagh, who is best known for directing films like Seven Psychopaths, In Bruges, Three Billboards, and most recently The Banshees of Inisherin. This is a crime drama that follows CIA agents who face a trust tested mission from Santiago to Easter Island during 1973 Chile. It stars Sam Rockwell, Steve Buscemi, Parker Posey, John Malkovich, Tom Waits. Martin McDonagh has a new film coming out. I'm there pretty much immediately. I love everything that he has put out. I thought Banshees of Inisherin was so outstanding, and I wish that he got some accolade for it. I know that he got nominated for screenplay and director and everything, but one of these days he's going to win an Oscar. And I know that this film has had some test screens and everything, and a lot of people are saying that it's excellent, and a lot of people say to keep Steve Buscemi on your Oscar ballots for 2027, which honestly, that's something I've been wanting to hear for so long because the fact that he's never been nominated for an Oscar is sickening to me. So
So
anytime Martin
overdue.
McDonagh puts something out, and with this cast, I'm very excited, and I'm also really excited to see what Parker Posey does with Martin McDonagh dialogue because I think she's also really excellent.
True. Yeah, yeah. Banshees of Inisherin was my favorite film of that year. I definitely I do like that in Bruges. I like the ones that focus a little more on Europe and stuff than when he writes about America.
Yeah,
Then, but still, even Seven Psychopaths and Three Billboards, I still like a lot about those movies. So I'm sure there'll still be something for me here, especially Sam Rockwell and Steve Buscemi. And yeah, Steve Buscemi, like most overdue of all time for Oscar attention.
seriously.
Parker Posey's having a good moment still coming off of White Lotus and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. What I'm looking less forward to is a seventh entry in the Scream franchise. This is coming out now, directed by Kevin Williamson. This one, this has had a whole jumble with the cast and everything. They screwed over Melissa Barrera. And Jenna Ortega left seemingly out of protest or in solidarity. I don't really like what's gone on behind the scenes in this film series. Haven't been that big a fan of what's gone on the screen. At least by the last film, I was a little like, this is just it's getting old. It's feeling like just a cash grab. I'm not really looking forward to seeing where they take this. The trailer came out. It doesn't look all that interesting. Looks like more of the same. So again, if this is like a huge movie that everyone's going to see and that's in the conversation, I'm sure I'll check it out. But yeah, I'm just sort of dismayed by this, and I love the original Scream and everything, and I think this series has gone way downhill.
I completely agree with everything you just said because I also really love the original Scream. And I do like most of these movies, but Scream 6 I thought was a huge step down. And also more importantly, everything that happened behind the scenes with this movie has just really soured my interest in watching this. And yeah, it doesn't help either that the movie looks like absolute garbage as well. Not even Nev Campbell coming back can help save this movie. And Kevin Williamson, he's the guy who wrote a lot of the original Screams, and it's cool that he's directing and everything, but ultimately there's just nothing about this that interests me at all. So yeah, not looking forward to this at all. And we're going from one horror sequel to another. We're going to be talking about Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. I really liked Ready or Not. I don't think we need a sequel to this, but that being said, I will check this out of sheer intrigue, and I like the new cast that's assembled here. Catherine Newton, Sarah Michelle Gellar, my guy Elijah Wood, and friggin' David Cronenberg. Like, what a cast! Truly, what a cast. Yeah, I'll watch it, but I don't know. I mean, do we really need a sequel to Ready or Not? No. I like the
Yeah, and
title though.
these Yeah, and these directors also were the ones who took on the newer Scream movies, so this is sort of a shift back to that. And I liked Abigail that they put out too, which also had
Yeah.
Catherine Newton. I think Catherine Newton was like one of the best parts of that.
Hmm.
And yeah, the original Ready or Not I thought was awesome, and it was a little more. It was cool because it was sort of out of nowhere, and now it's like the tone is well established, and so we'll see if they can surprise us with that or anything. But I think it's probably going to be worth seeing. Next up, we have I Want Your Sex from Greg Araki. The logline is that Elliot lands a job for Erica Tracy as her sexual muse. Don't know too much beyond that, but it stars Olivia Wilde and Cooper Hoffman. Also, Chase Sue Wonders, Johnny Knoxville, Daveed Diggs, Mason Gooding. This is Charlie XCX once again. She's around in the films. This sounds really cool. Sounds like a cool adult drama sort of thing. And big fan of Olivia Wilde as an actor and a director. So I'm excited to see her starring in something again like this.
Cooper Hoffman's in it, so it's automatically very
Me
high on my
too.
list. I will follow that kid anywhere he goes. I love him so much. And there was an image that was released for this because it's premiering at Sundance in a few weeks. The look that he has, I shit you not. So many people texted me saying, "Is this you in this picture?" Like they said that I look like him. So I'm like, I'm very flattered. I try to replicate the look of Cooper Hoffman. I love him so much. Yeah, I'm very excited for this. Greg Araki's a filmmaker whose work I'm actually really getting into and everything. So I'm excited to see how this film plays out. And another film that I'm really excited for is Coyote versus Acme. The main reason why I'm excited for this, and I'm not even a big Looney Tunes guy. The main reason I'm excited for this is because this film went through the most chaotic post production period ever.
Yeah.
They had shot the film, they had edited it, they had shown it to people, and then David Zasloff was trying to write this film off as a tax write off and everything, and then the decision was later reversed, and now people are getting a chance to see it, and now it's finally coming out this summer. So honestly, I'm excited to see the film because of all it went through and
Yeah.
everything. And I also didn't even realize this until earlier today. It's written by Sammy Birch, who wrote the
Hmm.
Oscar nominated screenplay for May December, which you brought up a few minutes ago. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I, again, I'm not a big Looney Tunes guy, but it sounds like it could be a fun time. So I'm looking forward to it in that regard.
Yeah, just like on principle alone, I'm like, I need to see this movie because they tried so hard to bury it, and all the people who worked so hard on it and everything, just for a tax write off, not because
Hmm.
of quality or any substantial issues or anything. So
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely want to. It looks like it's got sort of a like Roger Rabbit kind of vibe, which can always be fun. So yeah, definitely want to check this one out and support it when it comes. Another sequel entry that we're getting this year is Fokker in Law. So this is in the part of the Meet the Parents series. I really like the original Meet the Parents. Each of the sequels probably less so. This I am intrigued by the addition of Robert De Niro's here, Ben Stiller's here, but I'm intrigued by the addition of Ariana Grande and Skylar Gisondo. Absolutely. I love both of them as especially in comedic mode and things like that. So yeah, I'll be checking it out. What about you?
Yeah, Meet the Parents is good. The sequel's not so much, but Ariana Grande being here is very intriguing. So I'm very excited to see where that goes. a sequel that I'm very, very excited for is Godzilla Minus Zero. This is the sequel to Godzilla Minus One, which was a humongous surprise for me. I went into that film, first of all, not even knowing of its existence until maybe like 2 weeks before it came out. And then I watched it and I was like, oh my God, this is like incredible. This is so good. It's the
Yeah.
same team, same writer, director, same actors. So if it's on the same level as Godzilla Minus One, I expect nothing but greatness. So I'm very excited for this. How do you feel about this?
Totally agree. Yeah, Godzilla minus one, huge surprise, awesome. Great effects, but also a great story, great characters. It really managed to blend the two there. So hoping they can do that again. Another pretty big one that's coming out this year, Clayface. So this is it takes place in Gotham City. It's part of I guess the DCU. Directed by James Watkins. But what really excites me is that it's written by co-written by Mike Flanagan, who is one of my top guys working today as a writer and director. So I don't really know anything else about this. It stars Naomi Ackie, Max Minghella. I'm really not familiar with the character in comics or anything, but if Mike Flanagan wrote it, I'll be there. What about you?
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Clayface either, but the Mike Flanagan of it all definitely intrigues me. I like the cast, and again, like I said, I'm definitely very excited to see where James Gunn's DCU goes forward and everything. And I'm looking forward to watching a movie about a character that not many people in the public eye know, so I'm very interested in that. One film that I don't know if I'm interested in it or I don't know. This film we brought up earlier about films that we are scared for. This
Yeah.
might be the film I'm most scared for, only because of how much I love this character, how much I love the director of this film. The Adventures of Cliff Booth, which is a sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We have Brad Pitt coming back as the character that he won an Oscar for. This time, it's not directed by Quentin Tarantino. It is written by him, but it's directed by David Fincher, and it's going to be a Netflix release. I love Fincher. I love that he's working with Brad Pitt again. I think that's great. I hate that this is a Netflix film. I hate that Fincher continues to work with Netflix, even though I really liked The Killer. Mank, give or take, like it's fine, whatever. I know there's a lot of Mank fans out there, but and I love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I really do, but we don't need a sequel to that. I don't know how this film's going to play out. I guess Quentin Tarantino writing the script gives me some bit of confidence, but it's also like there's a lot of trepidation walking into this. I just hate that it's a Netflix movie. It was announced on April Fool's Day last year, and I thought it was a joke, but then everyone was like, oh no, it's actually real. And I'm like, oh, okay. But listen, I doubt it will be bad, but I also doubt it's going to match the quality of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So how do you feel about it? Are you a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood fan? How do you feel about this whole project?
It's definitely a weird like swerve to do this as a sequel. Fincher coming in, like Fincher is a huge director. He could easily do his any other sort of material. Like obviously he has some interest in this. I'm fairly neutral on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's not my favorite Tarantino. I liked it. It was not my favorite movie of that year or anything. So because I don't have like a giant attachment to it, I'm a little like, yeah, sure, I'll see what happens. If I can understand if you really love it, then being afraid for this one and what they're gonna do to characters that you love and live in that world and stuff. So I'm intrigued to see it, but it seems like they're walking a bit of a tightrope here.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that is a sequel to a beloved classic, The Devil Wears Prada 2. This one, Meryl Streep is back, Anne Hathaway is back, Emily Blunt is back. The addition of Sydney Sweeney, Justin Theroux. Of course, Stanley Tucci is back. How could I miss that?
Can't forget him.
Can't forget Nigel. This one I've seen a little bit of the trailer and stuff. It seems like it's kind of in that line of legacy sequels for things that were really big in 90s and 2000s that are coming around again. I'm really excited to see it. I think that worst case if it's something like I think like Freakier Friday of this past year was like really solid. It was like funny enough, it was sweet enough, it had enough to do with the original. I'm sure they all are gonna have to kind of like deal with modern sort of up. There's always seems to be inserts of like you gotta bring in the modern like kids today and stuff and throw some red meat to that, but rather than just, keeping it funny or keeping it whatever. But so, I'm sure it's not going to be a perfect movie, but I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to like be back with these characters again, and I think it's a really fun world to revisit.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing these characters again. I think it's very cool that everyone's coming back and what have you. But again, this is probably a case where we should have gotten the Devil Wears Prada sequel much sooner than, when this comes out. This will be, it's 20 years since the first one came out. So it's going
Yeah.
to be interesting to see how, they talk about how the fashion industry has vastly changed over the last 20 years. And, yeah, Anne Hathaway again being in it, that's, I'm seeing it. And I love Meryl too.
Yeah.
Meryl hasn't really done a lot these last few years. So I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to her. And Stanley Tucci, that's my guy. So naturally, whenever he's in something, I'm seeing it. And one that I am absolutely see it for, and I'm sure Veronica is as well, Dune Part 3, which, of course, Denis Villeneuve is coming back. We're going to see Timothy Chalamet's shaved head on the big screen, and it's going to be great. And then also, of course, we have all these other returning actors, but then we have Robert Pattinson in this. We don't know who he's playing. We don't know what his deal is in this, but I don't care. I'm so excited. Hans Zimmer scoring. Linus Sengren will be shooting this. Apparently, this was shot entirely on film, which I am a sucker for. I'm so excited for this. I love the Dune films. I'm so excited to see how Denis adapts Messiah. And yeah, I mean, what else is there to say that hasn't been said? We're all very excited for this. We all know this is going to be great. Is this going to come out this year though? Is this going to keep its December 18th release date? We'll have to see, but yeah, I mean, how could you not be excited for Dune Part 3?
Yeah, our another Robert Pattinson Zendaya pairing again. Yeah, I think in terms of release date, I think if anything, is as we said, this and Avengers Doomsday are scheduled for the same day, which aside from just being competition, there's also the issue of like IMAX screens and who gets to occupy those. And so it just seems like one of them is going to have to move at some point. My guess would that be that if anything, this might move up. This might move a little bit earlier so that it's
That's what I'm thinking too.
more in award season and it's not dealing with that competition. So yeah, we'll have to see. There's a possibility it gets pushed, but yeah, the first two Dune movies, I would say I respect them more than I like them, but I like respect the hell out of them. Like I think they are super ambitious, really well made sci-fi epics. I think that it's Denis Villeneuve. He's a little not quite my style. He kind of tends to be a kind of like sort of clinical filmmaker and doesn't always connect with me, but. I think that they're really cool achievements. I think that the performances are great. It's such a cool cast of like young Hollywood, like all of the most exciting upcoming actors. So yeah, this one will definitely be a huge one for film culture when it comes out, one way or another, with Avengers right around the corner.
Yeah, I think that this is going to move up. I would be shocked if it stays in December. I would be very, very surprised. I feel like this could move up to like a November release date and everything. I mean, there's no way that they're going to move it back. You can't move it back. You got to keep it this year.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you want Dune Part 3 to be a huge awards contender, you have to keep it this year. That's the only way it's going to work. Unless they move it to the end of next year, but no one's going to be happy about that. So
No, and Doomsday already has their countdown clock going, so they would look really dumb if they end up moving their date. So
yeah,
I feel like Dune's the one that's maybe gonna. It has good enough reason to shift up in the year.
absolutely.
Next up, we have Ray Gun. This is a Brad Bird movie, and that's like all I really need to know because I love The Incredibles. I love The Iron Giant. What about you? Is a Brad Bird movie intriguing to
Oh,
you?
and you can't forget about Ratatouille, of course.
Yeah.
His Mission Impossible film, which was which one did he do? The fourth one, Ghost Protocol. You can't forget about that. Yeah, Brad Bird doing this. Of course, that's the only reason why I'm interested in this. If it was anyone else, I probably wouldn't be excited. But it's Brad Bird doing another animated film, so how can you not be excited for it? It's really all you need to sell you. And it's sad we're gonna go from one exciting anime film to a not so exciting anime film. The Angry Birds movie 3, hard pass, and that is it. Veronica,
Pass for me. I don't care about them.
all right, what's next?
Another one that I really don't have much of a relationship to, Masters of the Universe. So this is, I believe, a He-Man movie starring Nicholas Galzantine. Like I said, not really something that was big for me. But what about you?
Camila Mendes is in this, and I've met her, and she's like the sweetest person in the entire world.
I like
So
her. Yeah,
I'm intrigued in that regard. And the Sethos of Nicholas, I never know how to pronounce his last name,
I think
but I
it's
loved him in
Gelsentein. Yeah.
Bottoms. I loved him so much in that movie.
Hmm.
He is so jacked in this movie. It's pretty insane how like fit he got for this. But yeah, otherwise, not really my cup of tea. But I'll check it out. It's directed by Travis Knight, who made Kubo and the True Strains and Bumblebee, and I liked both of those movies, so I'm
Yeah.
intrigued in that regard. Next up is a film called Hook'em. Hook'em. It stars Adam Scott. It's a horror movie distributed by Neon, and it has Adam Scott, and that's all I need to get my butt in the theater. And I love him. He'll always be Ben Wyatt to me from Parks and Rec, but I also love him as Mark on Severance. So yeah, I'm gonna watch it. A horror writer visits an Irish inn to scatter his parents' ashes, unaware that the property is said to be haunted by a witch. Sounds cool and Irish. What more do you
Very
want?
cool. Yeah. Yeah, I like Adam Scott, and I really like Damien McCarthy, the writer and director who did Oddity in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really cool little horror movie. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely intrigued to see where he goes with this. Next up, we have Sheep in the Box. This is the other Koreeda movie. Yeah, like you said, I haven't dug too much into his filmography, so don't know too much about this one. I don't even know if there's a plot announced yet for this one. Do you have any more info on this one?
I don't think so. I couldn't find any plot
Yeah,
synopsis on it either, but it's Koreeda, and I'm sure it'll be good. So,
yeah.
what else could you really say in that regard? Next up is a film called Is God Is. This is actually based on a play from Alicia Harris, who also writes and directs this adaptation. We have Sterling K. Brown, Janelle Monáe in the cast. Twin sisters with disfigurement burn scars are ordered by their bedridden mother to kill their abusive father who caused their scars. They must decide where to seek vengeance or find mercy. Sounds kind of terrifying. It's a mystery drama, and Janelle Monáe is awesome,
Hmm.
and I can't really find any information on the cast. I don't know if she's playing the twin. There's no details on like who's playing who, but Janelle Monáe, Sterling K. Brown, Vivica A. Fox, Erica Alexander. I'm seeing it. What about you?
Yep. Yeah, I love that cast. Sounds like a cool premise. Could definitely get a little wild, so sounds good to me. Next up, we have Hexed. This is a Disney movie. An awkward teen and his type A mother learn his peculiarities might be magical powers, transforming their lives and revealing a hidden magical realm. Yeah, this sounds, very Disney-ish. I'm on board. They're, not totally can't always guarantee the quality the way that you could back in the day, but yeah, I'm always around to see whatever their animated department brings. What about you?
Yeah, it's Disney. I'll watch it no matter what, even though I can admit that Disney's filmography these last few years hasn't been the strongest. Nothing will ever come close to the work that they put out in the 80s and 90s. But, when they hit, they really hit. But when they miss, oh, they really, really miss.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about a studio that doesn't miss, and that is Leica. Their new film Wildwood comes out this year. It is directed by Travis Knight, who we just brought up a few minutes ago. And you know what? It's a Leica movie, and the animation, I'm sure, is going to be the most beautiful animation ever. And I'm really, really excited to see this. I don't know a ton about it. There's not too many plot details about it, but it's Leica, and I'm seeing it. What about you? Are you a Leica fan, or are you not as well rounded with Leica's animation?
A little bit, yeah. I definitely like Coraline. That's probably the biggest one that I have a relationship to. But yeah, definitely looks good. They definitely put out have some high quality movies.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is Remain, which is an M Night Shyamalan movie, who is pretty hit or miss for me, and I think for most people. This one stars Jake Gyllenhaal and Phoebe Dynevor, who is really good in a few things over the last few years. I think that particularly the pairing of Jake Gyllenhaal with M Night Shyamalan, I'm interested to see because his filmography over the last few years has been, I think he really likes getting to play some like wacky characters, and M Night Shyamalan's movies can kind of skew towards the wacky. Like something like Trap last year or Trap a few years ago was, I'm excited to see Jake Gyllenhaal in that mode with M Night Shyamalan, even though it could be a total miss. What do you think?
I think the important thing that you didn't bring up is that this is based on a story that Shyamalan came up with Nicholas Sparks.
Oh, right, yes.
That's the
That's
big like
intriguing.
whoa of this entire thing. I like Shyamalan
That's
for the
that's the twist,
yeah,
actually.
exactly, exactly. I like Shyamalan for the most part. I've liked a few of the things that he's put out in recent memory. I really liked Trap. I thought Trap was really great, and I like Jake Gyllenhaal, and I think it's cool that he's finally working with Shyamalan. But yeah, there's not a ton of information about this, and I'm sure that it's going to be a very twisty, turny film. I'm sure it's not going to sit well with everybody, but that's the joy of watching a Shyamalan film. You never know what you're going to get when it comes to his stuff. One that I'm really, really excited for is Project Hail Mary, which stars Ryan Gosling. This is a sci-fi film based on a novel by Andy Weir, who is best known for writing The Martian, which was adapted into another a great film as well. And this is directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, which is I think the biggest intrigue of this entire film because they're primarily known for directing comedy, and they're doing this sci-fi drama, which I'm sure will have hints of comedy if it's anything like The Martian. Drew Goddard is writing the script, and he wrote the screenplay for The Martian. The trailer has really won me over, and I love Ryan Gosling. I'll be seated for anything that he does, even though he's doing a Star Wars movie. Like, I could care less about him doing a Star Wars movie, but it's Ryan Gosling, and I'll be seated for whatever he does. But yeah, this is one that I'm very excited to see. This one comes out very soon, just March 20th, so it's right around the corner. I'm really looking forward to it. I think that everything that has come out about it so far sounds really promising. So what about you? Where do you stand on Project Hail Mary?
Yeah, if I'm gonna see Ryan Gosling in space, I would prefer it be in this than Star Wars. But yeah, Sandra Hüller in this too, Ken Long. Yeah, it seems like a pretty cool sci-fi sort of concept movie. I haven't read the book or anything, but I've heard good things about from people who have. So yeah, definitely looking forward to this one. Next up, we have Madden from David O. Russell, about John Madden, who I don't necessarily know anything about, but Nicolas Cage is playing him, so that could be interesting. David O. Russell is, a bit of a controversial director. I think that people haven't had the best time working with him. His movies for me are, hit or miss. I kind of like American Hustle, but I don't think anything he's done in recent years has been all that intriguing. So yeah, I don't know. This isn't going to be a big one for me. What about you?
Yeah, this isn't one that really entices me either. I like Silverline's Playbook. I like The Fighter. That's really about it. American Hustle, I'm not super high on. Joy, I wasn't super high on. And I didn't even bother with his most recent film, Amsterdam, although I saw the clip of Taylor Swift getting run over by the car many
Saw that a
times and
lot. Yeah.
everything. But I love Nicolas Cage, though. And I don't know. They dropped like a teaser a while ago, and you saw him in like very heavy prosthetic makeup. So I don't know. I mean, I like Nicolas Cage, but David O. Russell, yeah, just he's not really a selling point for me to watch a movie, so I can't say that I'm looking forward to this. But I am looking forward to How to Rob a Bank, which is the new film from David Leitch. And the main reason that I'm excited for this is that Nicholas Holt, with very bleach blonde hair, is starring in this. And I love Nicholas Holt. Honestly, over the last few years, he's become an actor that I've really enjoyed watching in practically everything. And I like that he's a guy that has a very eclectic array of work. Like, he does a mix of everything. And just in the last 2 years alone, like, just going through what he's done in the last 2 years, The Order, Juror Number Two, Nosferatu, Superman, and now he's doing this movie. All very different films, all very different performances. He knows how to play a hero really well, but he also knows how to play a villain really, really well. And this is, pretty much a heist movie that we've seen many times before. Bank robbers are posting their heists on social media, causing police to chase them. David Leitch, he directed Bullet Train and The Fall Guy and a bunch of other action movies, Atomic Blonde, Hobbs and Shaw, Deadpool 2. And on top of Nicholas Hoult being in this, we have Zoe Kravitz, Christian Slater, John C. Reilly, Anna Swalla, Pete Davidson. So very good cast overall. I mean, this could be the kind of film that works for you or it doesn't work for you, but Nicholas Hoult being in it is a huge selling point. And oh my God, he looks so good with that bleach blonde hair. Oh my God, what a snack. Veronica, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, my hot take from Nosferatu was that his was the best performance. I know that Lily Rose Depp and Bill
No,
Skarsgård
you're
were
not
killing
wrong. He
it,
was the
but
best
I thought he
performance.
just like, yeah, it was the toughest part, and I thought he really nailed it. On top of all the other roles that you mentioned. So yeah, I'm in. Definitely want to check this one out. Next up, we have Resident Evil, which is coming to us from Zach Krager. Now, as I said, I was not a fan of Weapons. Barbarian, I'm okay with, and those are his two films so far. This is based on the video game, which I am also not that into. So I think that he's an interesting director. I think he probably has little bit of a blank check on this just because his other two movies have been like really successful. So curious to see what he does with it, even though I'm not necessarily, think I'm gonna love it or anything. But how about you?
I really like Zach Kreger. I like both of the films that he's put out. I'm not a Resident Evil guy. Admittedly, these are games that I haven't really explored and everything. And we've gotten so many film versions of this from Paul W.S. Anderson. But Zach Kreger has stated that his plan is to make something that captures the spirit of the game more so than just directly adapting one of the games. So that alone very much intrigues me. And if it's anything like the other two films, I'm definitely there. I trust him. I think that he's a filmmaker that has gotten his trust from me. And the filmmaker who I don't know if they've gotten their trust from me is Nicholas Winding Refn, as the next film we're talking about is Her Private Hell. This is being distributed by Neon. This is an edgy, hypnotic, unhinged thriller based on an original story that promises lots of glitter, sex, and violence. Sophie Thatcher is starring in this, and I love her very much. Diego Calva is also in it. Babylon Hive, wherever you are, just please raise your hand. Thank you very
Rise up.
much. Rise up, indeed. Charles Melton is also in this. May December Hive, rise up, please. Havana Rose Liu is also in this. Bombs Hive, rise up, please.
Rise up.
Literally all these cool people are in this movie. And Nicholas
Yeah.
Winding Refn, haven't seen everything he's done, but I love Drive. I love Drive. Yeah, it sounds cool. It sounds like it's going to be one of those very polarizing films, but I'm intrigued. I'll watch.
Yeah, Drive's definitely my favorite of his films. So, but that description sounds good to me. I'll check it out. Another one that I am excited to check out is Mother Mary.
Finally coming out.
I have had this on my most anticipated list going into 2024, so since 2023. But yeah, this one has been out there for a while. The stars Anne Hathaway and Michaela Cole. Something to do with a strange best friend and a costume designer and a pop star doing like a comeback performance. It sounds really, really kind of cool. David Lowery's an interesting filmmaker, and I think that this one would be, something to check out. Hunter Schafer and Kaya Garber also starring. Yeah, what about for you?
I'm so excited for this. I love David Lowery, Ghost Story, Pete's Dragon, Old Man and the Gun, The Green Knight. I love David Lowery, and yeah, this film has been in the works for so long, and the trailer really wowed me. I thought the trailer looked really promising, so I'm very excited to see this. I cannot wait, and I hope that it was worth the wait because, again, we've been waiting
Yeah.
so long for this film to come out, so hopefully it's worth the hype. The next film that we're talking about is also a very exciting follow-up for director Andrew Hay. This is called A Long Winter. Set high in the mountains, fall comes to an end, and a family prepares for the long winter ahead. Winter is coming, as some people might say. Eben Moss Bachrach is headlining this, as well as Katrina Balfe. We have Manuel Garcia Ruflo, Fred Hikers in this, Kit Connor, Camille Sullivan. Lots of people are in this movie. Andrew Hay made All of Us Strangers a few years ago, which was one of my favorite films of that year. I love that movie. Andrew Scott's performance is very deep and personal for me. I think that is just one of the most beautiful films that this decade has offered us so far. And yeah, I'm excited. Anything that Andrew Hay puts out, I'll be seated day one. What about you? Are you interested in A Long Winter?
Totally agree. Yeah, All of Us Strangers way up there for me that year. I also love 45 Years and Weekend. So yeah, anything that he puts out, I am definitely there. Someone who I'm also there for anything that they put out is Robert Eggers, and he is coming back to us this year with Werewolf. So this is, we just mentioned Nosferatu a little while ago. loved that movie. I love Robert Eggers' sort of attention to detail, his commitment to realism, even within fantasy stories. His period pieces are great. My favorite detail about him is that, how some directors don't like to film phones in movies, they don't think it's
Mm-hmm.
cinematic. Robert Eggers says he doesn't even want to film a car. Like, that's too modern for him. He wants to, stay back in the 1800s or wherever he can. So, yeah, I really like his sensibilities. I think he's a great horror director, great, you know, lush sort of production design in all of his movies. So definitely excited for this one.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be one of the best films of the year. I'm calling it right now. Everything that Robert Eggers has put out, there's very few filmmakers where everything that they put out I've given 5 stars to. To me, all 4 films that he's made are 5 stars in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
I'm so excited for this, and Era Taylor Johnson is headlining it. Willie Rose Depp, speaking of Nosferatu, she's also in this. Um, Willem Dafoe, Ralph Ineson, just a lot of his regulars are coming back for this. And I don't know if you've seen the photos of Eric Taylor Johnson, like just on the red carpet with his long hair and the beard and everything. Like he's really going all out for this to where he's starting to look like a human werewolf. And I'm very very pumped to see what he does.
That's commitment.
Huge commitment. Next up is Primetime, directed by Lance Oppenheim, who I believe is more of a documentary filmmaker, and this is his foray, I think, his first foray into narrative storytelling, and this is starring Robert Pattinson. That alone gets me excited. That's all I need to know. And also, my girl Phoebe Bridgers is in this. Huge Boy Genius fan. Love that group. Love that music. So yeah, there's really nothing else that I need to be told about this movie other than Robert Pattinson is in it. What about you? Is this one that's on your radar?
Yeah, I think it has to do with To Catch a Predator. I don't know if it's a
Yes,
fictional
yes.
version of that. Yeah, so that's interesting, and that was definitely like a huge phenomenon when I was younger and stuff. So yeah, interesting to see what sort of take they do with that. And Robert Pattinson again, he's having a huge year. Next up, we can talk about The Death of Robin Hood. So this is directed by Michael Sarnowski, who did Pig, and he did the Quiet Place film from last year. This stars Hugh Jackman, Bill Skarsgård. Yeah, don't know. Seems like it's a Robin Hood story. Definitely Hugh Jackman in a big white beard. Period action sort of thing. A24 once again. So a lot of cool elements to this one. What do you think about that?
Yeah, they just dropped the trailer for this a few days ago, and I thought it looked
Hmm.
really excellent. I thought this looked really cool. It kind of reminded me a bit of like The Green Knight. It gave me those vibes of The Green Knight and everything, and it also kind of reminded me a bit of Logan. It gave me vibes of what Hugh Jackman brought to that film and everything, kind of facing his mortality and regret over things that had happened in his past life and everything. So I think it looks really promising. And I like Marco Sarnowski. I liked Pig. I liked his Quiet Place movie. And I'm really excited to see what he does with his Death Stranding adaptation, which is also coming out from A24. So I like to think that A24 saw what he did with this movie and then gave him the reins to do this Death Stranding adaptation, which is like this huge video game that came out a few years ago. Very epic and cinematic and scope. So I'm excited to see how that translates to screen. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this certainly. Speaking of one A24 film to another, we're going to be talking about this has no title, but it's an untitled musical comedy written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg and stars Julianne Moore and Paul Giamatti. A shy woman unexpectedly cast in a local musical production loses herself in the role under the spell of the strong-willed director. I'm assuming that the director is Paul Giamatti, and literally Paul Giamatti is one of my favorite human beings in the entire world. I love him so much. I grew up in a Big Fat Liar household, so I will follow Paul Giamatti till the end of time. I thought he should have won the Oscar for The Holdovers. I don't care if that opinion is wrong. That's my opinion, and I'm very proud to say it. Although I love Cillian Murphy and Oppenheimer, I just love The Holdovers as well. I like Jesse Eisenberg as a filmmaker. I wasn't too crazy about his debut, but I really loved The Real Pain, and this film sounds very promising. On top of Julianne Moore and Paul Giamatti starring in it, we have Cara Buono, aka Karen Wheeler herself, badass mom herself, Patrick Fabian, who is best known as Howard from Better Call Saul, Havana Rose Liu, once again, Bottoms Hive, Rise Up,
It's
Bernadette
booked and busy.
Peters, theater legend, Haley Bailey, all these incredibly talented people who are in the musical theater industry. Very, very excited for this. I'm very excited for this. Anything that Jesse Eisenberg does behind the camera, I'm there immediately. What about you? Are you looking forward to this?
Yeah, I loved A Real Pain, so definitely excited to see him write and direct something again. And I'm a theater kid. A musical is right up my alley. So yeah, I'm excited for any sort of new musical that we can get. Next up, we have Artificial from Luca Guadagnino. This is starring your boy, Andrew Garfield, also Jason Schwartzman, Monica Barbaro, Cooper Hoffman.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this one is intriguing. It follows the confusing firing and rehiring cycle of Sam Altman at OpenAI. So that's subject wise. I'm a little nervous that we're skewing more towards After the Hunt, sort of the ripped from the headlines thing that Guadagnino is must be interested in now, rather than doing a little more of the family or romantic dramas that he's done in the past. But I love Luca. I love this cast. I will see anything that they do and give it a chance. How about you?
I love Luca. Last week I talked about how disappointed I was with After the Hunt, so I kind of need him to go back up. I can't
Yeah.
have another flop from him. I can't do it again. I can't have two back-to-back flops. The subject matter freaks me out as well, but Andrew Garfield working with him again, I'm excited for that, and I love the rest of the ensemble. You brought up Monica Barbaro, Cooper Hoffman, Ike Barinholtz is in this, Yura Borisov is in this, Cooper Koch, a lot of really good people. Billy Lord, Mark Rylance, really good cast, but I don't know. The subject matter just doesn't sell me on this, but the talent in front of and behind the camera is what makes me intrigued, which is also the
Yeah.
case for the next film, I Love Boosters, which is Boots Riley's new film. He directed Sorry to Bother You from 2018, which I love, love, love that movie. This has Kiki Palmer, Naomi Aki, Lakeith Stanfield, Demi Moore, Will Poulter, Isa Gonzalez, Taylor Page, just to name a few. Yeah, I don't know what this film's about at all, but I know it's premiering at South by Southwest in March, and I'm looking forward to checking it out. I really, really loved Sorry to Bother You, so I'm excited to see more from Boots Riley. How are you feeling about this movie?
Yeah, definitely love his sensibility. I didn't get to check out his TV show either. I'm a Virgo from last year, but I
Yeah.
heard good things about it. So yeah, I really like he's can be pretty radical and fun and wild, and I really like his sort of sensibility. So looking forward to that. Something that we don't have to look forward to much longer is 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, that is out, this upcoming weekend. So not too much mystery around it for long. But this is the follow up to 28 Years Later of last year. And that film, so this is now directed by Nia DaCosta, starring, picking up that story from last year with Jack O'Connell, Ray Fiennes, Alfie Williams, who I thought gave one of the best child performances of last year. I thought he was fantastic. He really reminded me of Anton Yelchin at that age.
Mm-hmm.
Something about his face, and it was just like he was so sweet, but so like so he was just great at all of the dramatic moments too. Yeah, so I was a big fan of that one. I didn't love the ending of it, which sort of introduced what's ostensibly going to be our antagonist for this movie. I've tried to keep away from any spoilers or anything before I see it next week. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna. This is a story that I like and care about, and definitely want to see where, especially Ray Fiennes' character is going to go here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Really loved 28 Years Later. We'll be talking about this movie certainly more throughout the year and everything. Spoiler alert, this might be our episode for next week, so tune in to find
Stay
out.
tuned.
But yeah, looking forward to it. Also looking forward to the next film, Digger, which is the new film from Alejandro G. Iñárritu. That isn't the thing that excites me the most about this. The thing that excites me the most about this is that it stars Tom Cruise in what I believe is his first non-action role in almost 10 years. And there's not a ton that's revealed about this movie quite yet, other than the most powerful man in the world embarks on a frantic mission to prove that he is humanity's savior before the disaster he's unleashed destroys everything. It sounds so absurd and ridiculous, but you know what? If this character is supposed to be played by anyone but Tom Cruise, I don't think it would work at all. But I'm so excited. There's already people predicting that this is going to be Tom Cruise's Oscar win. Like already people are predicting it. It's like, guys, we haven't even gotten the nominations for this year's Oscars, so let's settle down before we jump ahead a full year. But they dropped a little teaser announcement. I'm sold. I don't need to see any more. I love Tom Cruise. I know a lot of people have their opinions on him. Say what you want about him, but he's a really good actor, and he cares so much about the film industry and trying to make sure that it's at the point that it really should be at. So, yeah, I'm very excited for it, and I like Inarritu. I don't love him. I love Birdman though. I love Birdman, but The Revenant I enjoy. Bardo was fine, and also the cast here is great. Riz Ahmed, Emma Darcy, Jesse Plemons, John Goodman, Sandra Hüller, just to name a few. There's a lot of really exciting people in this cast. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this certainly. How about you? What's your take on this one?
Yeah, same. I think that, you know, it's undeniable Tom Cruise is just one of our best movie stars. And he's been, yeah, kind of lost in the, you know, doing the sort of actiony thing, which is he's great at it. No, nobody else can do it like him. But you know, it's you don't really get a real character out of that. And he was a fantastic actor in, you know, things big and small. When he started out and through sort of the 2000s or so. So yeah, I want to see him come back to like a real film with some writing, with a, you know, a real character at stake, and yeah, I think if this is going to be the area to do it, then I'm ready to see him work. One that I'm not ready to see is the live action Moana,
Oh my gosh.
because Moana is one of my favorite Disney movies ever of all time. I absolutely love that when it came out. It makes me feel very old that it's 10 years old at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you know, it did seem like such a quick turnaround, but it has been 10 years, I suppose. But I just need the Disney live actions to stop. I think that I don't really think any of them are successful. They make a lot of money, so I'm sure they're going to keep coming. But yeah, I'm just not looking forward to this.
Yeah, this is absurd that we're getting this. Not only because the animated Moana is great, it's only 10 years old. And now we're getting the remake this this short period of time after the original. It's absurd. And I love how Dwayne Johnson's like, "Oh, I'm in a period now where I get to do what I want." Yeah, you're remaking Moana. Sure, that's
Yeah.
what you want to do? Okay, buddy. Yeah, this is absurd. This is genuinely ridiculous that we're getting this remake. And you know, this week we got who our new Rapunzel and Flynn Rider are, and that movie's not even that old either. So I'm very tired of these remakes. The thought of it is making me sick. It's genuinely making me sick. The next film we're talking about is Being Humane, which is the new film from Sean Heder, who directed Coda from a few years ago. This has Mark Ruffalo and Dylan O'Brien amongst many other actors. I enjoyed Coda. I don't think it should have won Best Picture. That's a different discussion for another time. But Dylan O'Brien, give him any role ever. After what he pulled off in Twinless, he could do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. And who doesn't love Mark Ruffalo? He's just one of those guys that's so hard to dislike. So, yeah, I don't know a ton about this. It's based on a true story, and yeah, it's probably going to be a tug at the heartstrings movie, and I enjoy some of those from time to time. So, I'm sure this one will be a decent one. How about you? What's your take on this?
Yep, agreed. Yeah, like but didn't love Coda. But I'm happy to see Sean Heder back. And yeah, Dylan O'Brien, Mark Ruffalo, can't go wrong. They both had a great year this year, so you know, excited that this will be a little, you know, bit of an aftermath for them, and hopefully it turns out well. Next up is Super Mario Galaxy movie. Now this was like Super Mario movie last year. I think it was the biggest biggest movie at the box office. I did not see it. It was not, you know, on my to-do list, but happy for everyone who likes it. And are you looking forward to this sequel?
Um, You know, I want to look forward to it because the animation looks great, and I love 98% of the cast that they get in these movies. I cannot
Yeah.
stand Chris Pratt, though. I hate that he's Mario, and he wasn't as bad as I thought he was going to be, but it just annoys the crap out of me that he's Mario. The coolest casting in this new one is Benny Safdie playing Bowser Jr. That to me is absolutely hilarious. Like, I think that that's just genius casting because it makes absolutely no sense, but let him get a paycheck, let him do whatever he wants, and I just want him to work with his brother again. I'll just say that, but it will probably make a lot of money again, and I'll watch it. And I'm sure Jack Black will have another great song in it. And, what more can you ask for? Next up is Possible Love, which is the new film from Lee Chang-dong, who is best known for directing the film Burnin' from 2018, which is a fantastic film starring Steven Yeun. This film, I don't know a ton about this one. To be honest, I don't really know any of the actors that are in this, although looking at the IMDb, the mom from Parasite is in this, and I have such a crush on her. So,
Cho Yi Zhang, yeah.
yep, love her very much.
Yeah,
And
she's great.
oh my god, the cough is just freaking me out. We're almost done, everybody. But yeah,
Yeah,
Possible Love sounds great. I haven't seen a lot of this filmmaker stuff, but I love Burnin', so whatever he makes, I'm there watching it. Absolutely.
totally agree. Yeah, loved Burning, so happy to see an entry from him. Another filmmaker making a pretty big entry this year is Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. This is sure to be one of the biggest movies of the year. I'm excited for it. I'm almost always a Christopher Nolan fan. Absolutely loved Oppenheimer. I'm happy that he's in. This seems like a good marriage of his sort of filmmaking, but with that sort of epic scale and everything back even more so. Insane cast. Literally everyone and who's anyone in Hollywood pretty much is showing up. Zendaya, Robert Pattinson pairing once again. I'm looking forward to seeing this on the biggest possible screen, along with everybody else. What about you?
I bought my ticket for the first 70 millimeter IMAX showing. Cannot wait to see it. I have my complimentary ticket over there. I wish I brought it over here to show on camera, but I'm too lazy to get up and everything. And if I move my body, I'll probably collapse on the floor. Matt Damon is headlining this, and I am so excited to see him work with Nolan again. I thought he was such an underrated element of Oppenheimer. I feel like a lot of people didn't talk about his performance. I thought he was so good in that film. And I'm especially really excited to see what Tom Holland does in a project like this because, we're so used to seeing him as Spider-Man, and now he's going to be in the Christopher Nolan movie. And you know what? I think that that's great. And then, yeah, you brought up Robert Pattinson, Zendaya, Anne Hathaway once again, Lupita Nyong'o, Charlize Theron, Benny Safdie is in this. There's so many people in this. The biggest cast, like you said, John Berthal, John Leguizamo, Himesh Patel, Mia Goth, Elliot Page, Bill Irwin, Corey Hawkins, Samantha Morin. The list goes on and on and on. It's going to be great. Listen, we all know that this movie's going to rock. We all know it's going to be great. Although I'm not looking forward to every film bar being like, oh, well, now I'm a fan of the Odyssey and everything. Like, shut up. A film that
Also,
I'm not looking
like picking
forward to.
apart the details about what's anachronistic or not. I'm like,
Yep.
it's relax.
Yeah, let's calm down. A film that I'm not looking forward to, The Mandalorian and Grogu. And I say this as I have a Star Wars mug in my hand. I like Star Wars. I enjoy Star Wars. I really like the first two seasons of Mandalorian, and that's where it stops for me. Season 3, I couldn't even finish. I couldn't even get through that season. It was such a downgrade from seasons 1 and 2. And listen, I love that little Grogu creature. He's adorable. He's so fucking cute and everything. But this movie just looks like a long episode of the TV show. It looks so ugly and so dull, and I'm not looking forward to it at all, despite the inclusion of Queen Sigourney Weaver and Jeremy Allen White. I want to be excited for this. It's the first Star Wars film that we had in theaters since Rise of Skywalker, which was 7 years ago. And that was before the world went to crap. But unfortunately, I can't say that I'm looking forward to this. I want to be excited for it, but I'm just not. It just looks very lazy to me.
Yeah, I never actually got into the Mandalorian TV show. I watched a few episodes and it just wasn't really doing anything for me. I think that Andor was like the greatest thing in all of Star Wars that came out in the last few years, and so that's kind of ruined other Star Wars properties for me. I don't really think that anything is gonna come close to living up to that, especially not this. I'm just not. I'll see it. I hope it'll be just a good time, just a good enjoyable movie as like a one off. But yeah, I'm not super hopeful overall.
Yeah.
Something that does intrigue me is Tony, which is coming out from Matt Johnson. This is a biopic of Anthony Bourdain, and believe Dominic Sessa is playing him, which is cool casting, I
That's my
think.
guy.
Yeah, he's an exciting actor after his performance in The Holdovers. Also stars Amelia Jones and Leo Woodall, Antonio Banderas. Yeah, again, not biopic, could take them or leave them. Some of them are great, most of them are just fine. But this is by Matt Johnson as the director. I loved Blackberry from a couple years ago, so excited to see what he does with this.
Yeah, I love Matt Johnson. I loved Blackberry. I was a huge champion of that movie. Glenn Howerton should have been nominated for an Oscar.
Yes.
And I loved Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, which is coming out actually in a few weeks. I saw that at TIFF last September, and I loved it so much. And I met Matt Johnson. He is the sweetest human being that you could possibly ever meet. He's such a humble dude, and I'm really excited for this, especially for Dominic Sessa, because after the holdovers, he hasn't really been in a lot of great stuff. I haven't even bothered with Now You See Me
You see me.
3 and that Christmas movie that he just put out. Like, I just haven't bothered. His performance in the holdovers is just so exceptional that whatever he does next, I'm excited. And I watched a bit of Anthony Bourdain back in the day, so I'm interested to see what they tackle in this biopic. I'm interested to see if it's going to be more dramatic or like comedic or a nice mix of the two. I'm very curious to see how Matt Johnson is going to bring this to life. Something that I wish that I was looking forward to is a new Christmas Carol movie. This is called Ebenezer: A Christmas Carol. This is directed by Ty West, who you guys may best known as the guy who directed all the films in the X trilogy, which was X, Pearl, and Maxine, which had Mia Goth. This stars Johnny Depp as Scrooge, and
Yikes.
I, I'm no, it's disappointing reading about this because I really like a lot of the cast in this. We have Sam Claflin, Daisy Ridley, Andrea Riseborough, Ian McKellen, and Ron Weasley himself, Rupert Grint. Oh, and Tremel Tillman from Severance. Um, yeah, I,
No,
nah,
thank you.
yeah. It's just also I'm not really that. Listen, there's only one good Christmas Carol movie, and it's The Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I don't think we need another adaptation. I don't think we need Johnny Depp starring in a movie in 2026. I think that he can just go away at this point.
Agreed.
Ty West, I really like X and Pearl. I was super let down by Maxine.
Oh my God, such a disappointment.
Yeah, so this one can just not. But one that can was the one that I am way more excited to see is Behemoth, which is coming from written and directed by Tony Gilroy. This follows a musician from a family of musicians who return to Los Angeles. I don't know much beyond that, but Pedro Pascal, Will Arnett, Olivia Wilde showing up in something else again, Matthew Lillard, Eva Victor, who was so great with Sorry Baby this past year. Yeah, I mentioned Andor a little bit ago. That was one of my favorite TV shows of like the century so far. Tony Gilroy, he's done Michael Clayton. I think that he's a brilliant writer in particular, but a great director too. So yeah, anything that he's got cooking, I'm so excited for.
Yeah, this film just made headlines a couple of days ago because originally David Harbour was co-starring in this film with Pedro Pascal, and he actually dropped out, and Will Arnett is replacing him in this, which I think is really cool because Will Arnett just gave an incredible performance in Is This Thing On, and I'm excited to see him, showcase his abilities as a dramatic actor a lot more, and I think the pairing of him and Pedro Pascal is awesome. And yeah, I like Tony Gilroy as well. Admittedly, I haven't even watched Andor. I'm like the one guy who claims he likes Star Wars that still hasn't watched Andor, so I need to get on that. And yeah, Olivia Wilde and Quentin Tarantino's favorite actor, Matthew Lillard, is in this, and Ava Victor, just give them the world. Anything that they want to do, whether it's in front of or behind the camera, I'm there immediately. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Another one that I'm looking forward to, which we won't have to wait super long for, is Send Help, which is the new film from Sam Raimi. The stars Dylan O'Brien, who we just brought up moments ago, and Rachel McAdams, and it looks so fun and so absurd and ridiculous. It looks like a really cool psychological horror film where these two colleagues become stranded on a deserted island after a terrible plane crash, and Rachel McAdams looks insane in it, and I've never seen that kind of level from her before, so I'm really excited to see what she does here. And yeah, maybe a January film, but time has proven that some good films do come out in January. I mean, listen, we're getting the 28 Years Later sequel in less than a week, and then we're getting this at the end of the month, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it, and I think it's funny that Rachel McAdams' character's name is Linda Little. What a name!
Yeah, I was gonna say January, sort of infamous for having like all the worst movies dumped there, but this seems like the ideal of like January, fun kind of trash movie. Like
Hmm.
it looks like a really good version of that. Sam Raimi's always fun. Yeah, Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien look locked in. Yeah, I hope this is a an enjoyable one. Next up, we have Saturn Return, which is directed by Greg Kuidar, written by him and Clint Bentley, the pairing who brought us Train Dreams this year, Sing Sing last year. And so this follows two Chicago college sweethearts over a decade as they navigate the complexities of adulthood and fate. Sounds great. Sign me up. This is Will Poulter and Rachel Brosnahan in this. Also Charles Melton. Yeah, I'm in. As I said, I loved Train Dreams, but I particularly liked Sing Sing. So I'm here for anything that these two do. I'm really excited to see this one.
Saint Saint is a masterpiece. Train Dreams is a masterpiece, and I'm sure this will also be a masterpiece. And that's all I'll have to say about it. Next up is Mayday from John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein. This is the duo who made Game Night and Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. This stars probably my least favorite person in Hollywood, Ryan Reynolds. Kenneth Branagh is also in it, and I love him, even though he stole Paul Thomas Anderson's Oscar. Wendy Crewson, Maria Bakalova. Um, you know, I don't know what this is supposed to really be. There's not really much of a synopsis about this, and I do like the two films that I just mentioned from these directors, but the Ryan Reynolds of it all just kind of steers me away from it. And I like Ryan Reynolds, but he just does the same shtick. He's been doing the Deadpool shtick for 10 years, and I'm so tired of it. I'm ready for him to move on because I know that he has it in him to give a really good performance and do really good things. And he is funny and he is likable, but the shtick has gotten so old so quickly, and I'm ready for him to move on, and I'm sure this is going to be no different.
Yeah, my philosophy is that these guys made Game Night, so I will show up for whatever because I think that's one of the best comedies of like the last 10 years. Absolutely love that movie. I like Dungeons and Dragons a lot too. Yeah, agreed. Ryan Reynolds. I used to like him a lot. Then he used to make sort of different kinds of movies where he wasn't just acting like Deadpool and everything. So who knows? Maybe this is going to be a bit of a sea change, like the other cast members too. So yeah, intrigued by it. Another one we have is The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender. So this is going to be a continuation of the Nickelodeon show, which I'm a big fan of. It's become kind of a hot topic lately because they just announced that it's going straight to streaming, not in theaters. As far as I know, that decision hasn't been reversed yet, and it seems really dumb. It seems like there's a lot of people, I think particularly our age, who were like kids when it came out, who are really excited for this to revisit all these characters. And so I think they're, Paramount's making a bad move if they want to put this straight to streaming. But either way, I'm excited to just catch up with these characters and see what they have for us.
Yeah, Avatar: The Last Airbender is a great show. I've been meaning to revisit that over the years. I know that they currently have the live action adaptation that's pretty much a hit for Netflix right now and everything. And it is really disappointing that this movie that was supposed to come to theaters is now being relegated to a streaming release. Um, it's very disheartening, especially for the animators who worked on this film that were promised that this was going to be a theatrical release, and now
Yeah.
it's just being dumped onto stream. It's very disappointing, but hopefully it does very well and find some success on Paramount Plus and everything. I'll watch it for sure. I need to rewatch The Last Airbender. I need to rewatch that series. It's so good. It was a huge hit when we were younger, and it's one that I need to revisit for sure. Next up is Whale Fall. This follows a scuba diver who, while looking for his father's remains, is swallowed by an 80-foot, 60-ton sperm whale and has just 1 hour to get out before his oxygen runs out. Well, that doesn't sound very anxiety-inducing at all. Josh Brolin stars in this as well as Jane Levi, Elizabeth Shue, Austin Abrams from Weapons and everything. It it could be good, could be bad. We'll have to see what happens. This is one that doesn't really have much grabbing me, but I do like Josh Brolin, and Austin Abrams. I think it's cool that there's two weapons actors in this movie.
True, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm most intrigued by Brian Duffield, the director, did No One Will Save You in 2023. That movie, that alien invasion movie with Caitlin Dever. That was like mostly not silent, but there's no dialogue.
Yeah.
I thought that one was a really cool, like, directorial sort of choice and stuff. So I think that interested to see where he goes next. Next up, we have, gotta get this title right, Bucking Fastard, which is by a new Werner Herzog movie. Don't know too much about that, but the title is certainly notable. It stars both Mara sisters, Kate and Rooney, as well as Orlando Bloom, Donal Gleason. Yeah, don't know much about their. It's about two sisters who are so close that they speak in unison, love the same man, and have the same dreams. Sounds difficult. Sounds interesting, but yeah, that's a cool cast. Definitely a high concept thing. What do you think about that one?
Sounds like it could be a promising movie, but it also sounds like it could be a major annoyance of a movie. And
Yeah,
I
it could
do
be a
like the
mess.
Mara sisters. I particularly love Rooney Mara. I think she's always great in whatever she's in. And, Orlando Bloom, haven't heard that name in a hot minute.
Yeah.
So I'll check it out for sure. One that I'm intrigued by is Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Past. This is the new film from David Wayne, who is best known for directed films like Role Models, Wet Hot American Summer, Wanderlust. He's very big in the comedy world. They Came Together is another one that he um, this stars John Hamm, Zoe Deutsch, John Slattery, just to name a few. This is actually premiering at Sundance very, very soon. You know, this one could be very good, but I don't know a ton about it, but I do like David Wayne, so I'll definitely check this out for sure.
Yeah, written by Ken Marino too. I usually like him. So yeah, always down for a big starry comedy. See what that's like. This one is similar. I think this one seems to be a musical comedy. My Ex-Friend's Wedding. This one I have also had on my most anticipated list, I think, since 2023. It's kind of been out there for a while. Directed by Kay Cannon. Stars Amanda Seyfried. I think Ariana DeBose as well. A couple other people. On the eve of their former best friend's wedding, four of their childhood friends receive a drunken voicemail from her confessing that she believes she's making a mistake, and the four friends try to stop the wedding. From what I've heard, this is like a full musical. So, like I said, theater kid, I'm always intrigued by a brand new musical. So definitely want to see what this one has in store.
Yeah, sounds like a fun time, and keep giving Amanda Seyfried all the musicals in the world. She's
Absolutely.
a gifted performer, and I just want to quickly say this before we move on to the next one. All Best Actress lineups this year feel incomplete without Amanda Seyfried, and that's all I'll say about that. We have three more films to go through, so buckle up. We're almost done, everybody. Tuner. This film actually showed at TIFF this past year, and this was a film that I tried so hard to get a ticket for, and I had zero luck. And everybody that I know got to see this film except for me, and I'm so angry about it. This has Leah Woodall and Dustin Hoffman, and again, Havana Rosalou, just once again being brought up
Once
today.
again.
Just love her so much. A talented piano tuner's meticulous skills for tuning pianos leads him to discover an unexpected aptitude for cracking saves, turning his life upside down. And everybody that I know loves this movie. So I'm sure that this is going to be a winner. I'm very excited for this one.
Yeah, same. Since it's already premiered, it's got some buzz out, and I've heard nothing but good things. Very excited by Leo Woodall. I think he's, really cool up and coming actor too.
It's very good.
Next up, we have the Rivals of M. Zaya King. This is from Andrew Patterson. Stars Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, also don't know too much about this one, but I think this one is also premiering at South by Southwest. Some people have seen it, and I've heard some good things so far. So yeah, excited for Matthew McConaughey to be front and center again. It's been a while since he's done anything that's like a notable sort of maybe awards buzzy movie. Kurt Russell is in this as well. Yeah, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, this one premiered at South by last year, and it's been struggling to find some distribution, but it sounds really wonderful. And I remember people saying like this is like a return to form for Matthew McConaughey and everything. You brought up Kurt Russell's in this, also Cole Sprouse, which is so random, but I'll take it. I'll take it certainly. But it sounds really promising, and I'm very excited to see it. And lastly, but certainly not least, to end off today's discussion, we are going to be talking about Toy Story 5. Um, I think it's smart that we save this for last because I certainly have a lot to say, but I'll try to keep it short and sweet because we've been here for 2.5 hours. The Toy Story films are very near and dear to me. I think the first three are masterpieces. If we just had the first three, I would honestly say that might be my favorite trilogy of all time, tied with Lord of the Rings and the Before trilogy. Like it would be a 3-horse race between the three of them. And then we got Toy Story 4, which I'll say this on air, and I don't care if this is a hot take. I think it's a great film. I love Toy Story 4. I still love Toy Story 4. Toy Story 5, Andrew Stanton is directing it. He directed Finding Nemo and WALL-E, which are regarded as two of Pixar's best movies. He also directed Finding Dory, which, take it or leave it, whatever. I really like how this film is going to be about how now people are playing less with toys and now they're so glued to their phones, their computers, and in this case, a tablet. I think that's a cool approach to doing a villain. Do we need this film? No. Did we need a Toy Story 4? No. Did we even need a Toy Story 3? No. But Toy Story 4 was a good film. And I mean, that's just my opinion. I'm sure that this won't be bad either. I have a feeling that this will be good, but I'm also still cautious walking into this. But it wouldn't surprise me if I walk out of this movie saying this was really, really good. So, Toy Story 5, how are you feeling about it walking into it?
Yeah, pretty similar. Didn't think that we needed Toy Story 4, but then, how could we ever go without Forky? It was just, feels like he's always been there. So, yeah, and yeah, I think Greta Lee is voicing Lilypad. I think it's like an iPad, essentially, as like the villain, which, yeah, could be interesting to see what that says about kids and how we play today and how that's changed over the years and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that there's like a really good central idea here that made them want to actually make the movie, and that it's not just like let's slap another Toy Story movie on whatever script we've got. So yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. I think that they probably would be a little cautious to not burn the brand with some slop or whatever. Like I think that they probably had some reason for putting this out. So I'm ready to see it.
Yeah.
So that is 100 films of 2026. We went a little over time, but let us know what you're looking forward to this year. I think that my top tier, I think I'm gonna have to go with Jack of Spades, the new Joel Coen movie. If I had to just see one, I think I would pick that as of right now. What about you?
I am going to pick another Josh O'Connor film. I'm going to pick Disclosure Day.
There you
I
go.
would say that that's like the top of the tier for me, but that one is absolutely right there as well.
Very cool.
And with that, that's a wrap on today's episode of Some Like It Real. Thank you guys so much for listening. We really, really appreciate it. If you're interested in following along on our journey, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Brian Seffield.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Vera Albarella and on Letterboxd at Alba_real_.
And you can follow the show on all socials at Some Like It Real, as well as on YouTube at Some Like It Real. Be sure to subscribe and share it around, and tune in every Monday for a new episode of Some Like It Real on podcast platforms.
Thanks. We'll see you next time.